What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 3TW Chapter 61. With the end of the award ceremony, everything is back on track. Rist still teaches the students in his class as usual, except that he has two more identities. One is the rank of Colonel Naval Headquarters, and the other is he is the Vice President Instructor of Marine Academy. The first rank in Naval Headquarters is not much, but it is not too much, but the position of Vice President Instructor of Marine Academy is only one person. Although there is a general instructor on top of him, it is Zephyr. He estimated that as long as Zephyr does not leave Marine for one day, he will not leave that position one day. As for why Zephyr and Rist's elite classes choose only 20 students, because 20 places are just right, the soldiers are more expensive, but not expensive. The 20 places can let them give all of them. Take care of it. Although they also know that one or two more will not cause any major problems, but the number of students who can enter the elite class is really very small, and even if they want to pick a few more, they can't pick it out. In this way, Ryister taught the students to practice during the day, received Zephyr's teaching at night, and occasionally met Kizaru a few times. I have to say that Kizaru's strength has also improved a lot during this period of time. His own talent is very strong, but after getting sparkling fruit, he will use all of his talents to develop devil fruit. As a result, physique and swordsmanship are a little wasteful. However, while Paluzolino was practicing with Zephyr, Naval Headquarters assigned two other people, Sakazuki and Kuzan. A task about Buster Call, and the target of this Buster Call was Ohara Island. Then Marine offered a bounty of 79 million to a little girl, calling her the son of the devil, Nico Robin. Marine's move immediately caused strong dissatisfaction with many forces in the sea, and launched a Buster Call to an island for no reason, which made some people's hearts full of panic. Of course, Marine also caused a lot of jokes, offering a reward to a 7-year-old girl, which made many forces joke that Marine is a coward, especially some pirates, who almost meet Marine, will make this question ridicule Marine. And it's really a wave of unsettled waves, and waves are rising again. While Marine was still worrying about how to deal with Nico Robin, there was another very bad news in Impel Down. Golden Lion Shiki successfully escaped from Impel Down at the cost of 2 legs. This was an unprecedented blow to Marine's reputation. Golden Lion was also the first person to successfully escape from Marine. Advertisement. Subsequently, Marine launched an action against Golden Lion and began searching for news about Golden Lion from all over the world. However, Golden Lion, as a lion fruit capable person, wanted to find him. What a pain it was. Marine just got the news that when he went there, the Golden Lion had already disappeared. For this reason, Paluzolino, who trained at Zephyr, has been requisitioned forcibly, just to find the Golden Lion, but it is of no use at all. The Golden Lion seems to have disappeared out of thin air. He is nowhere to be found, of the trail. In this regard, Marine is also quite helpless, but everyone knows that Golden Lion will not be content to be calm. It must be hiding somewhere and plotting a bigger conspiracy. People who have known Golden Lion know that Golden Lion's goal is to conquer the world. To this end, he has invited Roger and Whitebeard, even at the expense of his legs, to get out of Impel Down. However, these things have nothing to do with Lister. What he needs to do now is to continuously practice, continuously improve his own strength, and constantly improve the strength of his students. In this way, time is fleeting, never staying, and soon, 6 years have passed. During these 6 years, no one knows what level Rist's strength has reached. He sent away batch after batch of students. Although not all Marines with a face are students of Ryister, the time to come is not far away. During the 8 years of his tenure, Lister has cultivated a total of 80 elites for Marine. Although he does not know these 80 elites, there are still a few people left, but the rest are definitely true elites. In the past 6 years, Naval Headquarters has also undergone a major change in blood. Sora has abdicated or promoted, and became the commander-in-chief of the 3 services. He is not only in charge of Marine, but also the Army and Air Force, but the Army and Air Force are just a gimmick. Each army is under the jurisdiction of its own government, and the Air Force, let alone, almost none. Subsequently, the position of Marshal Marine was taken by the former Marine Admiral, Sengoku. Advertisement. Zephyr also withdrew from the position of Marine Admiral, and was at ease as the chief instructor of his Marine Academy. Afterwards, Paluzolino, Sakazuki and Kuzan were promoted to Admiral, codenamed Kizaru, Akainu, Aokiji, 3 Logia Demon Fruit Power, Marine Admiral Supplement, and the promotion of Marshal, which enhanced Marine's prestige. The last time Marine appeared 3 Admiral at the same time, I don't know when. In order to show the strength of the 3 Admiral Marines, shortly after taking office, they desperately accumulated records, and all the places they went to were New World. Only there, they could quickly increase their prestige. Now, all the big pirates circling in New World, although they have not fought against the Whitebeard pirate group, they have fought against the Big Mom of the Ant pirate group and Kaido of the Beasts pirates. But neither of the two sides can do anything about it, and the final result of the battle can only be ignored. It is worth mentioning that during the game against Kaido, Kizaru met him as an enemy, and he was extremely jealous. Even Akainu and Aokiji were a bit stunned. It was the first time they saw such a hard-working Kizaru. With the New World Party, the trio captured many well-known big pirates, but it was also because of the trio's battles with the Ant pirates and Beasts pirates that the 2 pirates accumulated a lot of prestige. Because these 2 pirate groups are the pirate groups that the 3 Admiral can't do anything together. Vaguely, the Ant pirates and Beasts pirates are already on par with the Whitebeard pirates. However, the Whitebeard pirates seemed indifferent to everything and did not take any measures, which frustrated Sengoku's plan. Originally, he wanted to make these two pirate groups more famous than the Whitebeard pirate groups, and then cause a three-way internal fight, but he did not expect that he underestimated Whitebeard, or that Whitebeard had changed too much. This time, instead, Marine was not able to peck rice with chicken. Chapter 62 Sabody. Now Riester is 17 years old, but since his last offer to go to sea was rejected, he has never mentioned it again, and has been focusing on training in Marine Academy. Riester instructor, Marshal Sengoku invites you to his office. At this time, a correspondent came to Lister respectfully and said to him, "Is it my turn finally?" Riester was naked, sitting and training. His muscles were unusually dazzling under the sunlight, and the sweat on his forehead gave Riester some special charm. No one at Marine Academy is disrespectful to Lister. Even in some people's hearts, Rist's status has completely surpassed Zephyr. "I see, tell Marshal Sengoku, I will be there soon." Yes. After the correspondent respectfully saluted, he left quickly. He didn't dare to stay here for a long time. He was afraid to stay here for a long time, so he was immersed in the charm of Lister instructor. 17-year-old Riester has fully grown into a handsome guy, but what everyone is most curious about now is what Riester's eyes look like, because at this time most people in naval headquarters have not seen Riester's eyes. Take a shower, put on Marine's clothes, and put on the cloak of justice. In the next second, Riester's figure disappeared directly. When he reappears, he has already appeared in the office of Marshal Naval Headquarters, doorway. Standing here, a flash of remembrance flashed in Riester's mind. It had been several years since the last time he came here. Boom boom boom. Please come in. Marshal, are you looking for me? Since the last time Sengoku was promoted to Marshal, Lister met him, and it is the second time he has met. Long time no see, Lister. Yes, Marshal, this is the first time we have met since you were promoted to Marshal. Ha 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 ha, after all, is the Marshal's official duties a bit busy? I wonder if the Marshal is looking for me this time. Is there anything? My fruit, how is your cultivation? Advertisement. For this, Sengoku is still very concerned. After all, it is the second master who got this fruit to him. It is like his own brother. Report the Marshal, you have completely mastered your devil fruit's abilities. Very good. The Marshal nodded in satisfaction. Now with your strength, Marine Academy is no longer suitable. I want to transfer you to another branch. What do you think? Hearing this, Rist raised his brows, and his heart was very excited. He finally waited for this day. I do, Marshal. In the past few years, Riester has never fought with anyone, except Zephyr, but he and Zephyr have also been in touch with each other, and they have hardly moved the truth. However, in the last 2 years, he has rarely failed in the battle with Zephyr. It should be said that since he won one, he has been winning the following battles. So now when he offered to compete with Zephyr, Zephyr was a little scared of him. It is not an exaggeration to say that Rist believed that his current strength has surpassed the current 3 Admiral. Well, stationing in an ordinary branch with your strength is obviously not in line with your strength, so I plan to arrange you in Sabody Archipelago. What do you think? Hearing the arrangement of Sabody Archipelago, Rist's brows almost frowned, which meant that he was likely to face celestial dragons. For celestial dragons, although Rist had never seen him in his life, he still clearly remembered that he was a slave of celestial dragons. Why, do you have any ideas? Report the Marshal. No, but with regard to celestial dragons, I might. Although Rist did not finish this sentence, Sengoku also understood what he meant to express. I know, but I give you a privilege. Regarding celestial dragons, you can ignore it and leave it to your adjutant to deal with it. And there shouldn't be a guy who doesn't have eyesight will provoke celestial dragons. If when you meet celestial dragons on Sabody Archipelago, you will be wronged. Use the ability of sparkling fruit to leave. If you want to use your skills, you should be able to avoid being discovered by them. Yes, Marshal. Rist knows that this is arguably Sengoku's greatest tolerance towards him. Well, from now on, you will be appointed as the highest officer of Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral, Sabody Archipelago Marine Division. Sengoku said solemnly. Yes, Marshal. Advertisement. Rist straightened up involuntarily. It took 6 years to advance to a military rank. It can be said to be quite slow, but don't forget that Riester is only 17 years old. At the age of 17 Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral, Riester is definitely the first person. If there is more military merit, it may even be Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral. Okay, you go back and say goodbye to Zephyr, your warship and subordinates. I will arrange it for you. Yes, Marshal. Rist, Sabody Archipelago is the top priority. It connects the Grand Line and New World. It is the most important level of New World. Only by entrusting that place to you, I will rest assured. I hope you won't let me down. Sengoku said earnestly, the Marines stationed at Sabody Archipelago must be strong, otherwise it will not be able to stop the vicious pirates, and Sabody Archipelago has other nobles besides the world's top nobles like celestial dragons. There. The island almost also needs protection from Marine. Yes, Marshal. Afterwards, Rist left the Marshal's office, returned to the Marine Academy, and found Zephyr. Are you leaving? Zephyr spoke first before Lister could say his intentions. Master, do you know everything? Riester said in surprise. What do you think? If I hadn't recommended you, you would still be appointed by Marine Academy now. Hearing Zephyr say this, Riester's heart was moved. He said why Sengoku would suddenly think of him. It turned out to be the promotion of master. Master. Rist said softly, a little choked in his tone. It's all right, it's not a parting of life and death. What are you doing so sad? And if you leave, I will be able to relax a lot. Tenten will practice against you. This old bone of mine can't stand it now. Hey. Lister smiled embarrassedly. Before you leave, let me tell you one last thing. The place at Sabody Archipelago is very complicated. I don't need you to do anything. I just hope you can protect yourself. Yes, Master. Chapter 63 Departure, Sabody Archipelago. The farewell between the two men does not require too many words. As for the students he taught, all have been transferred to Zephyr's name, but because this year is also about to graduate, it is not necessary to temporarily replace the instructor. What big problems will arise? But Ryister did not say goodbye to his students, because when I met them, the other party would definitely not be able to stop his tears. Ryister was not used to seeing such a sight, so he quietly left. Soon, Ryister arrived at the port and found that a warship was already there waiting for him. Looking at the size and configuration of the warship, Ryister knew that this was for him. When Ryister boarded the warship, almost all the Marines on the ship gave Ryister respectful eyes. Ryister has taught at Marine Academy for 8 years, but he has not only 80 students in this elite class, but most of the ordinary students have also received his teachings. Even on this warship, Ryister I also saw a few familiar faces, people who had been directed by him, but the students in the elite class did not see them. I've been waiting for you for a long time, Instructor Ryister. No, I should be called Chief Ryister now. At this moment, a man wearing the Marine Justice Cloak walked up to Rist and said, depending on his rank, he should be a colonel. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Bruce. I am Colonel Naval Headquarters. I am also an adjunct to Chief Ryister. Although Bruce hadn't been taught by Lister, he was much older than Lister after all. When Lister first entered Marine, he had already started fighting on the front line. However, he can still hear news about Ryister from time to time. After all, when recruiting recruits almost every year, there are always a few people who have been taken by the young man in front of him. Hello, Colonel Bruce, starting from today, please take care of me. Yes, Chief Lister. The two men shook hands with each other, and the friendship between the two was established. I think you all know who I am. I don't introduce myself too much. I will just say one thing. My name is Rist. I am the Supreme Officer of this warship and I will be appointed to Sabody Archipelago soon. Supreme Commander, if you have been wronged in Marine, you can tell me that even if the Marshal makes you wronged, I will help you get the place back. Yes, sir. The rest of the soldiers and non-commissioned officers actually said with a high spirit that as one of the most prestigious people in Naval Headquarters, Riester was appointed as their commander, and their hearts were also very excited. Advertisement. This little guy is still very clever in inspiring people. Sitting in the office, Sengoku, through the window, can see all the conditions on the Riester warship. However, Sengoku, he is still a little bit younger than you. At this time, another voice rang behind Sengoku. Originally, Sengoku was very happy with the arrival of this old friend. But when he saw Senbei scum in a place, the blue veins on his forehead suddenly violently. He really didn't know what he had done in his previous life, and even let him meet such a guy in this life. Garp, you stole the old man's Senbei again, and you ate it all over the floor. Garp was greeted by Sengoku's roar. As for the Marine who is standing guard outside, he is already very familiar with this scene. Only Garp Vice Admiral comes to the Marshal's office. There will definitely be the Marshal's roar and Garp Vice Admiral's laughter. Ha ha ha, Sengoku, don't mind, just pay you back next time. Sengoku has not heard this sentence how many times, but he has never seen where the Senbei is still coming back. But is it really okay to expose List to the outside world now? At this time, Garp's expression was a little serious, and he said, they put all their hopes on Riester. He is the hope of Marine's rise. If Riester is not there, then their slightly active minds in the past few years will disappear completely, and they will feel at ease. He became a rung of the world government. There is no other way. The world government has long noticed that there is such a number one person in Marine. Maybe it was a wrong choice to let him serve as the Vice President of Marine Academy, instructor. After all, this position is too conspicuous. It can be said that when he took office, Lister had already been exposed. Doesn't that mean that Lister is dangerous now? Advertisement. Garp's eyes widened. In this case, Rist should be completely protected in the Marine Academy. This is his own idea. It's true, but Riester needs such training. At Naval Headquarters, he is like an eagle in a cage. He has no way to fly. Even if he releases the cage in the future, he has forgotten the ability to fly. So now is the best time to let him go. And Zephyr also told me that Riester's strength is no longer weaker than anyone in Marine. That kid has reached this point. I really want to learn from that guy when I have a chance. Garp can still think of the scene of his first meeting with Rist, a tattered clothes, a face like a tabby cat, a thin and weak physique, and a very good ambition hidden in his eyes. But if he is stationed at Sabody Archipelago, doesn't it mean that fewer pirates will enter the new world in the future? This may cause common hostility from those guys. They also now understand that several ambitious guys in New World are expanding their pirate group, except for Whitebeard, almost everyone is targeting One Piece. Don't forget, our Marine is not vegetarian either. New World temporarily makes them mad for a few years, but if they dare to come to Sabody Archipelago, let them come back and forth. Sengoku said with a look of haughty. Now for them, Marine. The pirates who are threatening are nothing more than those, but only if the other party does not join hands. Marine is not afraid of them. If they dare to come to Sabody Archipelago to make trouble, naval headquarters must be able to provide timely support as long as Riester drags them down. When the time comes, even if Whitebeard comes, Sengoku will have the confidence to keep him on the Grand Line. Ha ha ha, Sengoku, this is who you used to be. Garp sighed and left. He didn't know how long he hadn't seen Haki's Sengoku. Since becoming a marshal, Sengoku has been suppressed by the world government. When Sengoku heard Garp say this, he was a little stunned. So I have changed so much? Sengoku muttered to himself. Chapter 64 Rectify Sabody Land. Since Sabody Archipelago is very close to naval headquarters, in less than half a day, Ryister's warships have already arrived at Sabody Archipelago, but as soon as they arrived at Sabody Archipelago, Ryister's brows frowned. This place, super almost as chaotic as he imagined. Their warships entered directly at the entrance of the marine base, so there were hardly any pirate ships or ships of criminals. At this time, 2 rows of marines were already standing in the harbor, waiting for Ryister's arrival. When Rist and the others got off the ship, all the marines immediately cast their respectful eyes, and under the warship, there was also a man wearing a cloak of justice. Looking at the warship, it was a rear admiral. Hello, Chief Riester, I am the Deputy Base Commander of Sabody Archipelago Marine Base, Jameer. Hello. Jameer can be said to be very familiar with Riester, because his child was once one of Riester's students. Chief Jameer, this Sabody Archipelago is really messy beyond my expectations. Sorry, Lord Riester, since Sabody Archipelago is the only way to enter the New World, all pirates or some merchant ships will stay here. This has also led to many criminals on this island, and most of them the lawbreakers all come from the background of government officials. In the last sentence, Jameer whispered. The Marine Division of Sabody Archipelago can be said to be the fastest Marine Division to change the officer. Even he just took office not long ago, because most of them were corroded by the erosion of interests. Really, it seems that it is not a simple matter to completely eliminate the poisonous insects in Sabody Archipelago. This time, Rist knows why Sabody Archipelago is so close to naval headquarters, but it is the most confusing place, because in some places, Marine's hand can't be stretched so long. Hearing these words, Miguel's expression showed a hint of surprise. He felt that Ryister's ambition was very big, and he also knew that the island might not be very peaceful next. In fact, Riester didn't understand one thing very much. Only Marine worked hard to completely control Sabody Archipelago. Then there are so many pirates in New World. Now New World has such a situation, and most of the situations are caused by Marine's inability. Today, all the dark forces in Sabody Archipelago are very quiet. After all, they all have their own network. They all know that someone from naval headquarters will take over the marine base here today. As the saying goes, when new officials take office with 3 fires, they don't want to be the first to be burned. However, most of the forces did not take this new marine base seriously, because they all believe that this base leader is still the same as before. As long as they pay the protection fee. Then what they do to them is open one eye, close one eye, don't care. When sitting in his office, Riester's inner feelings are instantly different. This is his territory. He does not allow anyone to be presumptuous in his territory. It is okay to take care of the elderly here, but if you cause trouble here, you have to ask. Asked if the sword in his hand agreed. Sir, let me introduce Sabody Archipelago to you next. The whole island is made up of 79 trees. Each tree has towns and facilities. People call the archipelago of this tree the Sabody Archipelago. Advertisement Miguel introduced earnestly with a face. Numbers 1 to 29 are mainly composed of illegal areas such as human trafficking shops and human auctions. Numbers 30 to 39 are mainly parks and some scenic spots. Numbers 40 to 49 are mainly tourist areas and specialty shops. From the 30th to the 49th, there are the most tourists and the densest place. Numbers 50 to 59 are mainly shipyards and coating artisans. Numbers 60 to 69 are mainly marine station, government entrance and exit, etc. Our marine base is on number 65. Numbers 70 to 79 are mainly green lights and lodging places. Hearing Miguel's words like this, Riester probably also had a certain understanding of this place. However, he had to take a look at it personally. If pirates appeared on the island, what would you do? Well, if they don't make trouble on the island, we will just let them leave with one eye closed. Hearing these words, Rist's heart was a little angry. It is estimated that even if they marine passed by the pirates, they would not care about it. This is a tradition left over from before. Feeling the terrifying aura emanating from Riester's body, Midgelton felt tremendous pressure when he quickly explained. Okay, I see, you can investigate how many pirate groups are still on the island. Sir, do you mean it? A bold guess suddenly appeared in Miguel's mind. Don't ask, go quickly, I want to know which pirate on this island dares to stay here. Yes, sir. Miguel saluted and walked out hurriedly. Sir, your actions will definitely arouse dissatisfaction from the government at that time. Advertisement at this moment, Riester's adjutant Bruce spoke. Don't worry, you don't need to care about this matter, you go out first, and let the soldiers under you hurry up and gather. This time I will clean the Sabody Archipelago again. Yes, sir. As Riester's adjutant, Bruce could only give him advice, and it was his own business whether or not he would listen to him. After Bruce left, Rist took out a small phone worm from the pocket of his coat. There was only one place this phone worm could reach, and that was Marshal Marine's phone worm. Blue blue blue, click. Who? It was still Sengoku's familiar voice. Marshal, this is Lister. Oh, it's Lister, have you arrived at Sabody Archipelago? Well, just arrived. Then what's the matter with you? Marshal, I want to attack Sabody Archipelago. Hearing this, the phone worm's side fell into silence. Afterwards, Lister told Sengoku about his plan again. Okay, Sabody Archipelago will be fully responsible for you. If something goes wrong, I will take care of it for you, but if there is something about celestial dragons, you can handle it by yourself. Ordinary nobles will have no problem, but celestial dragons will be difficult to handle. Okay, I see, Marshal, I'm relieved with your words. Well, I'll leave it to you, Lister. Relax, Marshal, I must show you a new Sabody Archipelago. Riester said firmly. Chapter 65. The first goal. Although the marine work of Sabody Archipelago was not very effective, the efficiency was still very fast. It didn't take long for Miguel to bring reports from all the pirates on the island. Sir, there are currently 19 pirate groups on the island. The most powerful pirate group is this year's Supernova, the Steel Pirate Ship, whose captain is named Gurula and has a bounty of 270 million. It is an Iron Man who has eaten the fruit of iron. His whole body can become as hard as steel. It is said that its hardness is higher than that of our iron body. Is it tougher than iron body? This is also normal. After all, iron body is only a level of physical exercise, and there is no way to compare it with demon fruit power. Where are they now? They are in a bar in the 13th district. Okay, summon the soldiers, go to the 13th district, capture the iron pirates, resist, and directly kill unscrupulous. Yes, sir. Originally, Ryister didn't intend to stay in Marine for a long time. He planned to leave Marine after learning some skills. After all, Marine has too many rules and regulations, and his actions are still restricted by the world government. But 8 years, enough time to change a person. Ryister is no longer the original Ryister, and his current identification with Marine is, no exaggeration, the same as his own home. He doesn't allow anyone to insult Marine, look down on Marine, pirates can't, nor world government. Marine's actions quickly attracted the attention of some interested people. There are a lot of eyeliners on the outside of Marine base, and even inside. Under the observation hockey of Lister, there are people with strange intentions at a glance. But Ryister didn't pay attention to them. It's not the best time to catch them. Ryister did this to sound a wake-up call for them, and leave this place if they are acquainted, otherwise they can only go to hell. A group of Marines came to the 13th district in a mighty manner. All the people around were evasive three-pointers. Through the momentum radiated from Marine, they knew that these Marines were not annoying people, and they did not see a few photos, familiar faces. That's right, this time almost all the people Riester brought were the soldiers Sengoku assigned to him. Sabody Archipelago said it's not big, it's not small, and their direction has been very clear. It is the 13th district, and currently only the Iron Pirates group in the 13th district, so they soon got news. Old boss, it's not good. A team of Marines has come to the 13th district. It seems that their target should be us. At this time, the door of a bar in the 13th district was violently pushed open, and a pirate ran in a panic and said to a man sitting at the bar drinking. Advertisement. I saw that the man had nose studs on his face, lip studs on his lips, and several pairs of ear studs on his ears. If his face was younger, he would look like a bad boy alive, but his face looked like a bad boy. I'm already 30 years old. To describe him with the word, juvenile, is really exalting him. Why panic? Did we kill fewer Marines? In the end, didn't they dare to even fart? This person is the captain of the Iron Pirates, Gurula. I have to say that his strength is indeed very good. In the first half of Hockey's Grand Line, almost no one will use Hockey's Grand Line. As long as he does not encounter Logia demon fruit power, he is an invincible existence. After all, few people can break steel, and Devil Fruit's ability will become stronger with exercise. If he learns to use Hockey again, with his Devil Fruit ability, he will be able to get a not-so-small status in the New World, but unfortunately, he has bad luck and meets Marine, who just came to take up his post. Even if he left Sabody Archipelago a day earlier, he might be able to survive, but today is impossible. Even if he survives, what awaits him is the impel down. On the other side of Gurula's chair, there is an uncle with yellow hair and glasses, but the uncle's head is already a little gray. Marine seems to have a lot of action this time. And inside this bar, a lady boss with dark skin and short hair thought inwardly. As a place where Sabody Archipelago sells information, he has long known that Marine will resend people to garrison Sabody Archipelago, but for the new Marine it is like appearing out of thin air. There is no information about him. He only knows that he is in Marine Academy, when instructor. Thinking about this, she looked at the uncle who was sitting in the corner of the bar and drinking, and seeing his indifferent expression, the proprietress was relieved. But what she didn't know was that this uncle's heart was far from as calm as it seemed on the surface. In his observation hockey, he could feel a person with a huge aura slowly rushing towards them. First didn't expect Marine to come this time with such a monster. It seems that Sabody Archipelago will not be quiet for a while. I hope I don't bother with the old man. Soon, Rist was led by Jameer to the door of a bar in the 13th district. However, his attention was all attracted by a powerful atmosphere in the bar. Advertisement. I didn't expect him to be here. It seems that this should be the bar Shaki opened. Rist thought inwardly that he felt a familiar breath in his sight. But just in case, he still asked Miguel, "What's the name of this bar?" The ripped-off bar called Shaki is strange to say. Someone actually wrote the ripped-off bar on the surface. Sure enough. List secretly said, maybe it's some kind of marketing method. But let's meet this Iron Pirate group for a while first. And when Lister was standing at the entrance of the bar, the people in the bar slowly came out, all showing arrogant and domineering expressions. Obviously, they didn't pay attention to their group of Marines. Hey, is your Marine no one, and you are looking for a blind man to come over? Gurula saw Ryister wearing a blindfold at a glance and sneered. You are the captain of the Iron Pirates, Gurula? Rist asked in a calm tone. He didn't care about the other party's ridicule. If a dog bites you, you can't bite back. But if you eat dog meat, Rist still likes it very much. Yes, it's my uncle. My uncle is in a good mood today. If you don't have the same knowledge of Marine, you should go back quickly. Otherwise, you Marines will stay here and give us a drink. Chapter 66 Goodbye Rayleigh, it's really arrogant. Rist felt a little helpless in his heart. Now Marine's deterrent power on the sea is really weak. Any pirate can ride on their heads and shit and fart. Is Gurula strong? It's okay, it can only be said that it is not weak, but he does not have the qualifications to mock Marine so much, and any of Marine's headquarters, Rear Admiral, can take care of him. But Naval Headquarters general officers are so rare that they don't have the time to take care of these little pirates. The Marine Division's Rear Admiral and Vice Admiral are not on the same level as the headquarters. I wanted to save your life, but if you insult Marines so much, your life will be too much for you. Why, do you dare to attack Lousy? Gurula narrowed his eyes and said. Bruce, Jameer, leave it to you, hope you don't let me down. Yes, sir. One is Rear Admiral of the branch, and the other is the Colonel of the headquarters. With the strength of the two of them, plus the Marine soldiers to clean up the pirate group, it is more than enough. You guy. Gurula gritted his teeth and said that he was even looked down upon by this Marine. In the past, which Marine saw them, his face was not terrified. Little ones, give it to me. Chop off that Marine's head and use it as a urinal for Lousy. Yes, boss. The pirates of the Iron Pirates did not have too much fear towards List. Just as Gurula said at the beginning, there were dozens of hundreds of Marines who died in their hands. Gurula directly led his pirate regiment toward Lister, and Lister stood still, and the soldiers behind him began to charge forward. At this level of battle, he doesn't need to take action at all. If even Gurula can't solve it, Rist is wondering whether or not to apply for an adjutant. The two sides quickly fought together, but soon a group of the Iron Pirates discovered something was wrong. These Marines were completely different from the Marines they had encountered before, and these Marines were much stronger than the Marines they had encountered before. Even Gurula was suppressed by Bruce everywhere in the fight, and Miguel was the second in command of their pirate group, and the second in command of their pirate group was also a pirate with a bounty of more than 100 million. But in the hands of a Rear Admiral, it's nothing. Advertisement but Gurula's steel fruit is really annoying. Although Bruce knows armament hockey, he is not proficient. Sometimes he can use it, and sometimes he can't use it. Who are you guys anyway? During the fight, Gurula asked with an ugly face. We are just an ordinary Marine. Damn it. Gurula yelled angrily. It was the first time he had used Devil Fruit's ability without taking any advantage. On defense, Bruce has Iron Body and Armament Hockey, not much weaker than Gurula's Devil Fruit. On attack, he also has Finger Pistol and Armament Hockey. As long as Hockey is successful, he can easily play a hole was left in the opponent's body. At this point, the two sides have fought for more than 10 minutes, and the 10 minutes has attracted many people, and many spies from the forces came here to watch, except for Bruce and Gurula who are still fighting. The other members of the Iron Pirates have been subdued by Marine, and this time Marine's team did not appear to be killed. If Lister is here, there is still a death, then Lister does not need to exist here. There have been many holes in Gurula's body with the thickness of his fingers, all of which were pierced by Bruce's finger pistol. Seeing that all his subordinates were subdued, Gurula's face was very ugly. He knew that if this continued, he would definitely be back here. He suddenly saw the Marine who had been standing there and wearing a mask. Suddenly, an unexpected thought appeared in his heart. As soon as this thought appeared, he could no longer contain it and began to grow wildly. He directly concentrated all Devil Fruit's abilities on his arms, flew Bruce directly with a punch, and then ran towards List at a fast speed. Come over. An expression of joy appeared on his face when he saw himself getting closer and closer to Lister. Successful. His idea is simple, as long as he subdues Riester, he can leave here safely. But he obviously forgot. Rist is the highest officer among these Marines. Don't ignore his strength just because of his youthful appearance. You have a good idea, but you are looking at someone you shouldn't be looking at. Advertisement seeing Gurula rushing towards Lister, Bruce also gave up chasing, because in his eyes it was a dead end. Although he had never seen Lister take action, he was able to serve as the vice president of Marine Academy instructor. At least 6 types are all grandmasters. Rist's voice rang directly in Gurula's ear. What? Gurula's eyes widened, and he was still at a distance of about 3 meters just now. How could he have reached him in an instant? Suddenly he felt a pain in his abdomen, and then he could no longer feel anything from the outside world. He could not hear the sound, nor could he see the scenery in front of him. Even his body fell down without any feeling. This time Ryister's shot directly scared everyone present. They knew that Ryister would solve each other, but they didn't expect to solve it so neatly. Clean the battlefield, go to prison alive, wait for a while to hit and send it impel down, and throw the dead directly into the sea to feed the fish. Yes, sir. In this world, corpses are basically handled in this way. After all, there are so many sea kings in the deep ocean that they have to feed some food. Sir, shall we go to the next place now? Wait a minute, there is still a big fish in there. Rist said, facing the entrance of the tavern. After watching for so long, don't you plan to come out to see you? Ryister's voice sounded, and all Marines looked in the direction of the tavern in doubt. It's really a headache. I thought I could easily escape the catastrophe, but I didn't expect it to be discovered by you. At this time, an uncle in slippers walked out slowly. Seeing this man, all the Marines showed suspicion. They looked at this man a little familiar, but they forgot to remember where they had met. The deputy captain of the Roger Pirates, Confronting Rayleigh, you such a dangerous guy is staying not far from the naval headquarters. You are really brave. Hearing Riester call out the other's name, everyone Marine and the onlookers were stunned, with a little horror on their faces. They did not expect that the legendary guy would appear in front of them. Chapter 67. I thought you wouldn't be able to spot me wearing a blindfold, but I didn't expect to be spotted by you. Although I can't see it with my eyes, I will never forget your breath. You kid really isn't cute the first time I met, but in just a few years, you have grown to this point. You Marines have really picked up treasures. Rayleigh naturally remembers Riester. Of course, Riester broke out Conqueror's hockey with him. Of course he left a deep impression on his heart. After that, he kept paying attention to the news about Riester in Marine, but the other parties seemed to disappear. I didn't expect that when I met again, I would be on this occasion. At this time, I saw Riester slowly screaming. Hey, just spare me the old man, I don't want to fight with you now. Seeing Riester drew the knife, Rayleigh said helplessly, but his whole body immediately became vigilant. The breath radiating from Rist's body is comparable to when he was at his peak. If the two of them really fight now, he might not be able to beat each other now. It's up to you. After speaking, Riester's figure disappeared in front of everyone in an instant. Seeing this scene, Rayleigh also drew the long sword around his waist and slashed forward, only to see Riester suddenly appearing in front of Rayleigh. The knife in his hand collided with the opponent's sword. Suddenly, Conqueror's hockey inside the two of them was also attracted, and red and black lightning burst out continuously at the junction of their weapons, and the clouds in the sky were completely blown away because of this momentum. I knew you would grow up, but I didn't expect you to grow so fast. This collision allowed Rayleigh to recognize Riester's strength, which was already above him. There are so many things you don't know. After speaking, Riester took a step back and then retracted Feng Yin. It's not the time to fight you. If you want to live in seclusion, just stay here and don't make trouble for me. Otherwise, I will definitely not let you go. Don't worry, Marine brother, I'm a great citizen. If you can revoke my wanted order, that would be even better. Advertisement, don't think about it. After speaking, Riester led the team and left. He didn't expect Rayleigh to come to Sabody archipelago so early. As soon as the battle between the two people just touched the point, through the collision just now, Rist knew that Rayleigh was no longer his opponent, but he had to pay a high price to win the opponent, not so easy. How about it? After Rayleigh returned to the bar, Yahi asked Rayleigh. The strength is very strong, and the strength on the sea can suppress him. It should be less than 10 when it comes to full play. And I can feel that there is still a huge force in his body that is not used. Yes. Yahi squinted his eyes. He knew that Rayleigh would not lie to him, which shows that the Marine now possesses the top strength in the sea. What does Marine want to do with such a terrifying kid here? Yahi asked. Who knows, but as long as it doesn't delay my retirement, I moved this old bone just now and I have to hide it for a while. Regarding Ryister's arrival, Rayleigh said he didn't care, it was false, but as long as Ryister's goal was not him. You guy is really not worried at all. What is there to worry about? You don't need to guess. This little guy is Marine's ambition. Maybe it won't be our enemy in the end. Rayleigh still remembers that Conqueror's hockey, which was not weaker than Roger, broke out at the beginning. How could people with this hockey obey Marine so easily? No, it was sent by the world government. Do you know what I don't know? Hearing Rayleigh say this, Yahi's eyes revealed a dangerous look. No, not really. Rayleigh was stunned by the look. I'm leaving first, remember the wine and money first, and I will give it to you when I have money next time. Advertisement. UB *************. D. I've heard this several times, and don't be met by that Marine again. It might not end well by then. I know, don't worry, although I haven't done anything all year round, my observation hockey is not a vegetarian. I can feel the terrifying breath even without observation hockey. After speaking, Rayleigh left without looking back. Hey, I guess my business here will get worse and worse in the future. Yahi took the cigarette from his mouth in his hand and sighed. She is now thinking, should I change the bar plaque to Yahi's cheap bar? Sir, the Confronting Rayleigh is there, don't we care? Bruce followed Riester for a long time, and finally asked the question. Don't worry, as long as I'm here for a day, he won't be making trouble, and you think Rayleigh is here, don't they know about it? But it's just a matter of opening one eye and closing one eye. Now I'm attacking Rayleigh. If it is, it will be harmful to our Marine but not beneficial. Why? Hearing Bruce's question, if Riester's blindfold could be removed, he would definitely give him a big Baikugan. How could his adjutant be so stupid? Not as smart as Bogart. Does every warship have to have it? A stupid person? On Garp's warship, it's Garp Ben. Bogart is smart. Is he smart here and Bruce stupid? Are you vegetarian as the other members of the Roger Pirates? If you capture Rayleigh, you must be prepared to fight with all the members of the Roger Pirates. Although the final winner must be our Marine, but the price paid we can't afford it. Don't forget, there are many big pirates in New World looking at us Marine. For a disbanded pirate group, even if the opponent is the Roger pirate group, it is not worth fighting with them, because Roger is dead. Rist can also guess why the Marine unit Rayleigh made the move. Although after Roger was executed, Marine also arrested some of the remnants of the Roger pirates, but most of them were small ones, and none of the main members were caught. It's not that they don't know where they are, but they simply don't want to be there. Too much force was wasted on them. I see, sir. After listening to Ryister's explanation, the other Marines also had a sense of sudden realization. However, the meaning of naval headquarters does not differ from what Riester said, and the contribution is not directly proportional to the report. This is the reason why Marine has not done anything. Chapter 68. It can be said that the nightmare of all the pirates in Sabody archipelago, the remaining 18 pirate groups were also destroyed one by one, but this one and the other also took a lot of time. After all, the areas where they are located are relatively scattered, and they are found in almost all areas, so it took nearly 4 hours to arrest them all. Now everyone knows that the new Marine from Sabody archipelago Marine base is not a good crop. All the evil forces are now hiding themselves tightly, for fear that they will be taken care of by Riester accidentally. As soon as I returned to my office, before the chair was warm, there was a knock on the door. Come in. Seeing Miguel walked over with a look of embarrassment. What's wrong? Feeling bad emotions radiating from Miguel, Rist knew what was going on. Some nobles put pressure on us, hoping that we can release a few groups of pirates and apologize to them. Miguel gritted his teeth. Hearing Miguel's words, Riester's momentum broke out directly, and the entire office became a mess under the impact of this momentum, as if there was a gust of wind blowing in the room. Celestial dragons? No, it's just an ordinary nobleman. Hearing this, Rist's aura eased slightly. As long as it wasn't celestial dragons, it would be easier to handle. Don't worry, just put them on the warship and escort them to impel down. Anyone who encounters obstacles on the way will be killed without mercy. What happened? I will bear it for you. Yes, sir. Soon, those outside nobles got news that the newly appointed base commander turned out to be unable to get in. This immediately made some people angry. Before Miguel left, Rist heard a noisy noise outside, and then the door of his office was kicked open violently. I saw that a man in gorgeous clothes walked up to Rist and said arrogantly, "Are you the new head of the base?" "It's me." Hearing the arrogant tone of the other party, Riester's expression did not change the slightest, and the incompetent person was just a clown in front of him. Advertisement: I order you now to release the pirates of flames you just arrested. Although Riester would not be familiar with such people, the tone of this command really made Riester very unhappy. Who are you? I am a nobleman in the kingdom of Nathans, your majesty Tracy. The man in front of here said proudly. I haven't heard of it. Before I get angry, get out of my sight as far as I can go. You. Hearing Rist's words, the nobleman named Tracy pointed to Rist's nose, angrily unable to speak. Do you know who I am? Our Shangxi kingdom is a member of the world government. Do you Marine know who I am? Tracy was a little frustrated, and it was the first time he was so shameless in front of a Marine. I order you now to release my people quickly. So, are you in the same group with that group of pirates? While talking, a very strong murderous aura burst out of Rist's body and directly enveloped Trace's body. Suddenly, Trace felt as if he was being stared at by a fierce beast, and the floor under his feet was dripping with an unknown liquid. It's really useless. Before I get angry, let me roll as far as I can. Otherwise, don't blame me for treating you as an accomplice of the pirates. You thin skin and tender meat, I guess you will die before impelled down. Okay, you wait for me, I must be stripped of your skin. After speaking, Tracy left hurriedly. Sir, what should I do with this? Bruce walked in and asked Riester. Don't worry about it, just a beaming clown, clean up the ground first. Yes, sir. Rist was also a little surprised now himself. He didn't think that this group of pirates was still raised by a nobleman, and he used the identity of the pirates to do some shameful things. Advertisement: sure enough, this world is really dirty. The nobles and the pirates are in the same trouble, and the interior of Marine is not very clean. As soon as he thought of this, Riester felt a little melancholy in his heart. He was too deeply attached to Marine now, and he wanted to clean up the inside of Marine first. However, sir, it might be a bit bad for us to refute the face of some nobles in this way. It's nothing, don't worry, the sky is falling and I will be against it. There are some ordinary nobles, Rist has not put them in his eyes. Marine will not give up his such powerful combat power because of some ordinary nobles, unless it is related to celestial dragons. And even for celestial dragons, Rist believes that Marshal Sengoku will help him settle. As long as he doesn't kill Marijoy, it is estimated that he will be fine with Marine. The pirates are finished, and the underground forces here should be dealt with next. The underground forces of Sabody archipelago can be said to be stronger than the pirates staying here. Many giants of underground forces have strongholds here, and their cooperation with the nobles is closer. You are now sending someone to seal up all the auction houses. Anyone who has slaves will be cleared out by me, and you will tell the person in charge of each auction house. In my jurisdiction, you can sell anything you want, only slaves can't. Yes, sir, I will do it now. After that, Ryister was left alone in the office again. I've been watching the excitement here for so long, now you can come out. It was obvious that Riester was the only person in this room, but he spoke out, as if talking to other people. Sure enough, there is a way to discover my existence. Then, as if a door had been opened in the air of Riester, a thin man in black appeared in front of Riester, clapping his hands, as if expressing a sense that Riester could find him, kind of appreciation. Which group of people are you? The position of the head of the Sabody Archipelago Marine Branch is really difficult to do. The guests came one by one. I am a member of the Donquixote family. I think you have heard of it. The purpose of my coming here is to do a business with you in the name of the young master. Chapter 69. The decisive Lister, Donquixote family, is that Doflamingo? Yes. Just listening to the voice of the person opposite said proudly, it seemed that he was proud of his young master, or he didn't put Riester in his eyes at all. If I remember correctly, his current power should still be in North Blue, and he didn't expect his hand to reach here. But you, a pirate, do business with me, a marine, don't you think it's too ridiculous? After finishing speaking, Lister burst into an aura directly, crushing strongly on that person's body. Suddenly, the man in black instantly felt the weight on his body as if it were 100 times the weight of gravity. Please calm down your anger. Feeling this momentum, the man in black knew that this marine was different from the marine that had made deals with them before, and the aura on this body was even more terrifying than the aura exuded by their young master. We are willing to offer you 100 million Baileys every year. We only hope that you can open the back door for our family in Sabody Archipelago. I think this is a very simple thing for you. He has made several trades with Marine, using his devil fruit abilities. He can come and go without a trace, so this behavior is almost always done by him. It's really very simple. It can be said that it is a matter of mine, but I am sorry, I have no habit of dealing with pirates. And you don't have to go back anymore. What do you mean? Hearing Rist's words, the man in black frowned. It means it literally. First, a marine, met a pirate like you. There is no reason to let you run away. Are you sure you want to do this? You should know that it annoys the fate of our Donquixote family. Are you threatening me? Rist's tone also became a little colder, and just this ordinary sentence made people feel shuddering. I don't dare, but I hope this master marine can think clearly about whether it's worth fighting against our young master. Advertisement. If I remember correctly, the guy Doflamingo lives in North Blue now. He is totally afraid of being hunted down by Vice Admiral, the crane in our marine. It's just a tortoise with a shrunken head. How much threat can it pose to me? If that's the case, then I'm leaving. First wish Master Marine a great success in his future career. I said, you can't go. If I want to leave, no one can stop me. After speaking, I saw this person, and when he reached out and pushed, a door suddenly appeared between the two people. It is indeed a very practical devil fruit ability. If it is someone else, it would really have let you escape, but it is a pity that you met me. When Lister said this, the man in black felt that Lister's voice was ringing in his ears. What? The black man's eyes widened, and I don't know when, Rist had already appeared behind him, and there was still a dazzling golden light on his feet. Kicked directly at his head, the whole person's body flew out in an instant, smashing the walls, and when he flew out, the door opened in front of him was naturally disappeared. Sir, what happened here? Afterwards, a group of marine soldiers hurried in. It's nothing, it's just a fly here. Throw the corpse outside directly into the sea without disguising it. Yes, sir. The purpose of Ryister's doing this is nothing more than to kill chickens and to tell the people in the underground world that he is different from the previous marines. As for the broken house, someone will naturally make up for him. Then the body of the man in black was carried out from the marine base. Those who secretly observed the various forces in the marine base quickly told the people behind them about the news. There were still some people who were planning to pay bribes and stopped abruptly, because they didn't know whether he would be the next person to be carried out. Young master, our people were killed by that marine. At this time, on an unknown island in North Blue, a man with yellow hair, sunglasses and a pink feather coat holding a phone worm heard the news from the opposite side, and his forehead was violent. Advertisement. This person is the leader of the Donquixote family, Donquixote Doflamingo. For the cadres of each family, Doflamingo values them very much. It can be said that they are regarded as family members, and the person who passes the news is the kind of cadre who is ready for their family at any time. But now, it was solved by that marine. What did the marine say? I don't know, but judging from what he did, he probably won't join forces with Sabody Archipelago. Okay, I know, you continue to observe and tell me any news at any time. Yes, young master. Kacha. The phone worm hung up, and the wineglass in Doflamingo's other hand was crushed. Dover, do you want me to send someone to get rid of that marine? At this moment, a man with a cane holding a plum blossom logo and a cloak similar to a quilt said behind Doflamingo. No, that marine should not be a simple task. Since he dared to do this, it means that he has a backing. We only need to wait quietly. It is definitely not just us who wants to attack him. One move can be said to anger all the people in the underground world, including some nobles, and I don't know if this marine can withstand the anger of these people. Doflamingo said calmly. It is not suitable for him to leave North Blue. The old lady of he has been staring at him, and she has a sense of not giving up if she doesn't catch him. I see, Dover. This person is Doflamingo's subordinate, Torpal. Sabody Archipelago, as the first half of the Grand Line and the starting point of New World, has many business opportunities here. And just as Doflamingo guessed, Riester did this and touched the interests of many people. Now many forces have united and planned to take action against Riester. And when Bruce led the team to inspect the auction house, they also encountered some troubles. Some auction houses, relying on the umbrella of the nobles, directly turned them away, not even letting them in. In this regard, Bruce has no way. After all, some auction house guards are not as strong as him, and they can only go back and follow Riester's arrangements. Chapter 70. After a lap, Bruce hardly received any useful goods. In Sabody Archipelago, it can be regarded as the weak and the strong. Some strengths without background have long been swallowed by those with background. Report. Come in. Hearing Riester's voice, Bruce walked in with a frustrated expression. What's wrong? What's the receipt? Sorry, sir, those auction houses refused our search and said that the world government allowed them to open auction houses. They are legal and compliant, and that we have no right to search them. Hearing Bruce say this, Riester's hand tapped the table regularly. Riester also knew that he was too anxious, and trying to solve Sabody Archipelago's problems could not be done overnight. Make a note of the few auctions they refused to investigate? Record. Okay, next, I will personally lead the team. After speaking, Rist shook his cloak of justice and walked out. He had to be worthy of the two words behind him. When Riester walked out of the marine base again, all those who were observing in the dark reported to the forces behind him. Sir, what about these mice? Don't worry, this kind of mice can't be cleaned up, they will come in batch after batch. Riester and Bruce naturally knew that there were a lot of sights watching them, but it didn't make any sense to act on them now. Afterwards, Riester and his party came to the first district. This was supposed to be a very lively place in Sabody Archipelago, but today it became deserted with the arrival of Riester. At a glance, Riester could not see several human trafficking shops. All these human trafficking shops were sealed up for me, and all the slaves in them were brought out to me. Anyone who resists will be directly detained. Rist ordered some angrily that even if these human trafficking shops knew he was coming, they were still opening the door with a big fanfare. It was true that he hadn't been taken seriously. Yes, sir. Advertisement Rist's dispatch this time almost used most of the forces of the Sabody Archipelago marine base. If someone now shoots at the marine base here, the few people left in the base will not last long at all. But Rist believes that no one will stupidly hit the muzzle. Soon, under Riester's watch, the soldiers escorted all the bosses of the human trafficking shops, and all the slaves were rescued. Rist could clearly feel the joy of these slaves, and Rist also discovered that several of the slaves were still Murlocs. This was the first time Riester felt the breath of the Murloc. You can't do this. If you do, the people behind us will not let you go. Shouted the bosses who had been escorted by Marine. Stop their mouths for me, and take them all to jail, awaiting trial. Yes, sir. These ordinary soldiers finally felt a sense of exuberance in their hearts at this time. They were simply powerless to face this situation before, but the new officer suddenly let them experience the real sense of serving the people. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sir Marine. Some of these efforts to be rescued directly knelt on the ground, crying and expressing gratitude to these Marines. Please hurry up, everyone. This is what we should do. Those who want to leave now can leave by themselves. If there is no place, we will send you back to your parents in a while. Thank you, Master Marine. Hearing what Riester said, these people were moved for a while. Sir, there are many pirates among these slaves, what should we do? At this moment, Bruce whispered while lying in Riester's ear. Send them directly to the prison of Marine Base, and soon be sent to impel down with the pirates. Yes, sir. Those pirate slaves who have just been freed, haven't been happy for a long time, they are controlled by Marine again. Advertisement with their dumbfounded expressions, they directly stated their identities, after all, they explained where they were going in the future. This makes some pirates feel that it is better to become someone else's slave. After all, impel down is a place where life is worse than death in the eyes of these pirates. Apart from Golden Lion, I have not heard of any pirate who can lie from impel. Come out and down. Even if those who are not sentenced to death or life imprisonment, after entering impel down, even if the number of years is up, there is no news. Next are those auction houses. Rist looked into the distance. He felt a few breaths in those auction houses. Although not comparable to him, it was similar to Bruce next to him. When Ryister walked into the first auction house, he was directly stopped by two men who looked like bodyguards. When they saw Ryister and Marine behind him, there was no change in the expressions on their faces. I don't know if it was. After rigorous training, there is still a deep background behind it. Sorry, it is not open today. No one is allowed to enter. I saw the two people standing at the door, each extending an arm, blocking Rist's way forward. Roll. The only response to them was the simple word Riester spit out. Feel sorry. Seeing that the two of them had just finished saying these words, they suddenly fainted. Go in, check it out, and pay for all illegal things. Yes, sir. It's not good for you to do this. At this moment, another person suddenly stopped in front of Riester. The aura exuding from him was much stronger than those guarding the goal, but it was not enough. Rist didn't intend to talk nonsense with him at all, and stunned the opponent with a single punch. This also made some people fully understand that the newly appointed Marine is just a stunned boy. No matter how deep the forces behind you are, he just cares about the cleanliness of his turf. Hey, I really don't leave a way for this old man to survive. Is it possible that in the future I can only be a coder with peace of mind? Outside the auction house, in a secret alley, a yellow-haired uncle thought sadly while drinking a bottle of wine. This person is naturally Rayleigh, and Ryister's doing this directly blocked Rayleigh's most profitable road. Chapter 71 The Meteorite Incident. In the next few hours, Riester cleared all the auction rooms, which also allowed Riester to see a lot of good things, such as devil fruit or famous knives. Devil fruit and famous knives can be said to be very rare things, but in Sabody archipelago this place is in circulation every day. Rist also saw slaves of various races, including giants, one-stroke and long-legged tribes. When they learned that they had been rescued, they all had unbelievable expressions. They did not expect, I still have the day to focus on regaining freedom. At this moment, it can be said that Sabody archipelago's cleanest moment, any illegal places have all been sealed. And when Ryister dealt with these things, Marshal Sengoku at Naval Headquarters can be said to be a very headache. When his phone worm took action from Ryister, he almost never stopped. And he was also afraid of having important information, which caused the phone worm to ring and he must answer it, but most of them were reprimands against him, and there were few useful things. After Riester has dealt with all the dark sides of Sabody archipelago, although Sabody archipelago is not as prosperous as it used to be, it is still very lively as the most important island of the Grand Line. It is just that the trafficking of human slaves has been eliminated. To be honest, it has not had any impact on the Sabody archipelago. It is just that the nobles come here less often. Those who wanted to impeach Riester orders were all suppressed by Sengoku. Just when Sengoku thought all this was going to calm down, a bigger news broke the tranquility of the world directly. Murloc explorer Fisher Tiger, climbing the mountain with his bare hands, Meteorite, the headquarters of the world government, sacred place, had a riot and released thousands of slaves. As soon as this incident occurred, the world was immediately plunged into turmoil. They did not expect a Murloc to be so crazy, nor did they expect that someone would dare to make a fuss about Meteorite and was able to successfully escape from Meteorite. This tiger. The tables in the marshal's office no longer know how many of them were broken by Sengoku. Now, 5 elders exerted tremendous pressure on him. In any case, he must capture the Murloc tiger as soon as possible. Advertisement, I didn't expect it to be this time? When Rist heard the news, he was also taken aback. Although he knew that the Murloc tiger would burn Meteorite on fire and rescue the slaves, he didn't expect it to happen so soon. For Tiger, Riester still appreciates him very much. If he is not a pirate with strong strength, Riester is likely to act with Tiger. After all, the 3 good young man who has received a good education in the 21st century can never stand the slavery of this world, and when he first crossed over, he almost became a slave. But it is a pity that his position does not allow him to do such things that are detrimental to Marine's face. Blue blue blue. At this moment, the phone worm in front of Rist rang. Rist, when Fisher Tiger appears on the Sabody archipelago, you must do your best to arrest him, and you must arrest him. As soon as he answered the phone, Sengoku's angry voice rang. Yes, Marshal. Riester said seriously, but for this matter, Riester did not take it seriously. Rist, I know what your thoughts are, but you have to know the impact of this incident on Marine. Although I also know that you don't like slavery, you don't want to change this thing overnight. If Fisher L. Tiger appears in Sabody archipelago, you must catch it with all your strength. I see, Marshal. After meditation for a while, Riester agreed to Sengoku. However, Tiger has disappeared since the incident of Meteorite. Even the slaves who were rescued by him were taken back by the people of the world government, and some were like Favor Tiger, also disappeared. Advertisement Marine never stopped looking for Tiger, but he just couldn't find him. After all, Tiger is a Murloc and can move freely in the water. As long as he doesn't go ashore, Marine has nothing to do with him. Then, after a few more months, Tiger, who had not heard from him, suddenly announced the establishment of the Pirate Sun Group, and all the members of the pirate group were Murlocs. For this reason, Riester was also given a big training by Sengoku. Fisher Tiger returned to the Fishmen Island from Sabody archipelago. There was no news about Riester. This made Sengoku feel that Riester was negligent. But there was no substantial punishment for Riester. After all, Sabody archipelago is now being governed by Riester very well. It can be said that it has become a paradise for some people. Here, there is no need to be afraid of being arrested and becoming a slave again, and there is no need to be afraid of one day when a pirate will die inexplicably. Rist can clearly feel that there are more Murlocs on the island than before he came. In the past, Murlocs had to be disguised for activities on the Sabody archipelago, but now they can act as Murlocs in Sabody archipelago, NS. Don't be afraid that someone will catch them again, although they will still face some disgusting eyes from humans, but this is much better for them than before. Of course, there are still many Murlocs who think that they are superior to Sabody archipelago to make trouble. For such people, Rist will never tolerate them. They will be taken directly to the prison to reflect on them. When did they recognize their mistakes and when? Able to come out. Now Riester can be said to be the best human friend of the Murlocs. Although most Murlocs have never seen what Riester looks like, they know that if it were not for Riester, their lives would not be so free. Princess Odahime of the Fishmen Island even planned to invite Rist to be a guest on the Fishmen Island, but thinking about the relationship between Marine and the Fishmen, she gave up. She has also heard about the other crew members of Riester, that she will never tolerate pirates. On the Fishmen Island, There are many crew members of the Pirates of the Sun. If the two parties meet, it may cause trouble. The saved situation. Princess Odahime had planned to go to Sabody archipelago to meet Ryister, because he felt that Ryister was a person who could help them get the world government and be recognized by all human beings. But it was stopped by all the Murlocs of the Fishmen Island. If Princess Odahime had an accident in Sabody archipelago, it would be something all of them could not afford. Chapter 72. A conspiracy. It has been half a year since Riester served as the head of the Sabody archipelago marine base. In this half a year, any signs of dark world power in the Sabody archipelago will be wiped out by Riester with thunder. And on the bright side of Sabody archipelago, there is no trace of pirates at all. As the only place to enter the new world, there have been no newcomers for half a year. Rist is like the door god of new world. Generally, it governs all those who enter and exit the new world. This also caused the pirates of new world to fall into a calm phase. During this period of time, it is not that no one wants to challenge Lister's authority. Some pirate groups have already heard of Lister's legend in Sabody archipelago, but they just don't believe in the evil, so they have to challenge, one time. This challenge is good, and I left my life there directly. However, this has also led to a drawback, that is, the pirates in the first half of the Grand Line are prevalent, and there is no way to enter the new world. They can only be prestigious in the first half. Fortunately, in the first half of the Grand Line, Marine was still able to call the shots. Those arrogant pirates were cleared directly by the Marines, leaving them with little room for respite. I have to say that in the past 6 months, Marine's prestige has instantly increased a lot, except for Tiger's blow to Marine. However, Marine still did not give up this Murloc who caused great humiliation to the world government. Since Sabody archipelago is the only way to the Fishmen Island, Riester can feel that since the Tiger incident, there have been many the forces secretly sneaked into the Sabody archipelago. Among them are the people of the world government. The agents of the world government exude a vigorous and resolute atmosphere, so they are easy to identify. They came here without saying hello to Lister, and proceeded on their own investigation. So this also resulted in all their actions being under Lister's surveillance. Anything that endangers Sabody archipelago, Lister will eliminate them directly regardless of whether they are colleagues or not. Some agents of the mysteriously disappearing world government may have been the work of Ryister. Their strength is not very strong, at most the level of Marine Rear Admiral. In front of Lister, they can't hold on for a round at all. If you use Sparkling Fruit's ability, you can kill it almost instantly. So as long as those who disappeared unconsciously, most of them were solved by Lister. In the first half of the Grand Line, on an island called Yahi, a huge conspiracy was brewing at this time, a conspiracy against Lister. Advertisement. Yahi Island is a rather magical island. According to legend, anyone who logs onto this island will be affected by a mysterious atmosphere, and the personality will become extremely irritable and bloodthirsty. There are almost no primitive residents on this island, because they will often fight, even if they are neighbors. It is very common to fight 3 or 4 fights a day. Over time, people on this island will either kill each other or kill each other. Feeling the weirdness of this island, I moved to other places. Therefore, over time, this place has become an uninhabited island. Only occasionally passing ships will rest here, but they will not stay for a long time. However, today, this island is very lively. Outsiders on this island have more than a dozen ships, and each ship has a different pirate flag. This shows that there are more than a dozen at this time. Pirates are gathering on this island. And every captain of the pirate group is offering a bounty of more than 100 million yuan. In the first half of the Grand Line, they are all big pirates who can be named. Andre, the captain of the Pirates of Flames with a bounty of 220 million. The captain of the Ironhead Pirates group with a bounty of 200 million Baileys, Ironhead Jones. There is also Tyrannosaurus Rex, the captain of the Tyrannosaurus Pirates with a bounty of 350 million Baileys. And dozens of other big pirates with rewards of over 100 million yuan. At this time, they all had a special banquet on the island, and the dozen or so captains of the pirate group were all sitting together, but they were faintly dominated by Rex. After all, Rex was theirs. The one with the highest bounty among them can also be said to be the most powerful one. Rex is the demon fruit power, and is the ancient species of Zone, the fruit of Tyrannosaurus Rex. It may be devil fruit sake, which also caused Rex's temper to be very irritable. Anyone who disobeys him has all become his subordinates. Captain Rex, I don't know what the hell is going on when you called us here. Yes, it's still such a cursed island. 2 captains spoke first. Advertisement. As soon as they landed on the island, they felt an ominous breath attacking their minds. This breath seemed to control their will and wanted them to fight. However, they are all well-known pirates, and their willpower is very tenacious. They soon regained their clarity, but their crews are not so lucky anymore. Some of them have fought among their own crews, and some have been fighting with them. Fighting occurred in other pirate groups. I have only one purpose for gathering you all here, and that is to discuss how to get to New World. Hearing Rex's words, all the captains of the pirate group changed their expressions. They are all pirates, they all want to go to the tomb of the legendary pirate, New World, they all want to get Roger's treasure and become the new pirate king. But now there is a nightmare of their pirates blocking their way forward, making them unable to move forward at all. There are only 2 roads to New World. One is to enter New World through the Holy Land Marijoy, and the other is to enter New World through the Fishmen Island, but you must first go through Sabody archipelago to reach the Fishmen Island. At this time, the captain of the Blaze Pirates, Andre, said, When mentioning Sabody Archipelago, one has to mention the nightmare of their Grand Line pirates, Marine Rear Admiral Riester. The name has almost become a huge rock on top of their heads, making them almost out of breath. These pirates are also very frustrated. They hide in Tibet every day. Rex arranges the meeting place here. They can almost understand it. After all, this is the safest place in the first half of the Grand Line, NS. There is no Marine's eyeliner here. Captain Rex, you mean, we are going to capture Sabody Archipelago? The captain of a pirate group suddenly said the bold guess in his heart. Chapter 73 Rex's Strategy. Yes, only if Sabody Archipelago is beaten down, we can enter the New World smoothly. Rex said firmly with a face, and he didn't know if he was affected by the evil aura on the island, and there was a red light in his eyes. But it is said that the Marine is very strong. In the past 6 months, there has been a pirate group stronger than ours, but all of them have been destroyed in his hands. A pirate group captain said worriedly, they didn't think about entering the New World from Sabody Archipelago, but when they remembered, those pirate groups that were stronger than them were completely annihilated in Sabody Archipelago, which made them retreat in an instant. We may not be his opponent alone, but as long as we work together, it is more than enough to solve one. Don't forget, we are all big pirates with a bounty of more than 100 million yuan, no matter how strong the Marine is. Strong, there is only one Marine Rear Admiral. I think if we make a shot together, we will still be able to catch it. Hearing what Rex said, some captains of the pirate regiment nodded in agreement, and they felt that no matter how strong there was, they couldn't survive their cooperation. But the naval headquarters is very close to the Sabody Archipelago. If we launch a major attack on the Sabody Archipelago, then Marine will definitely send reinforcements. If we fight the naval headquarters with our strength, it can be said to be dead. At this moment, Andre spoke again. His bounty is enough to rank in the top 3 among these people, so what he said still has the right to speak. And what he said is not unreasonable. Indeed, naval headquarters is too close to Sabody Archipelago. If Marine sends a large force over, then they are really very dangerous, almost dead. I know, so we have to beat that Marine in the fastest time, then coat the film and go directly to the Fishman Island. Rex said with a serious face. What they are discussing now can be said to be an extremely dangerous thing. If they are not careful, they may never turn around, and they will be left in the sea forever. I know that this matter is very risky, so I will not force you. Those who are willing to be with me can follow me, and those who do not want to be with me can leave now. Rex's words are tantamount to voting. The captains of the pirate regiment glanced at each other, but none of them had the intention to leave. This is also true of Andre, who has always been cautious. After all, this is also the best opportunity for him. With his own words, there is almost no way to go to New World, so even if he knows that this matter is difficult, there is still a glimmer of hope. After a while, after finding that no one had left, Rex nodded in satisfaction. Advertisement, I was just a test for you. Congratulations to all of you for passing. Hearing Rex's words, all the captains of the pirate group were stunned. Rex, what do you mean? Suddenly, a pirate group captain said angrily. He felt as if he had been tricked by Rex. I did have plans to attack Sabody Archipelago at the beginning, but as you just discussed, it was too risky. If naval headquarters supports it in real time, we will die. So I thought of a better way. Any solution? Andre asked. The reason why Sabody Archipelago has become like this is entirely because of that Marine. As long as we can solve that Marine, Sabody Archipelago will be restored to its original state. At that time, Sabody Archipelago, we don't want to go. Then how is this different from what we just discussed? The difference is huge. Rex smiled mysteriously. Attacking Sabody Archipelago requires us to knock down Sabody Archipelago, but all we have to do is to kill the Marine. Do you have a way to bring that Marine out? Andre's brain was running fast, and he soon understood what Rex meant. It really is Andre, really smart. That's right, all we have to do is to lead the Marine to this island, and then we work together to kill him completely. If this is the case, then I approve of such a plan. Suddenly, a captain showed up and voted. Although this behavior is also very dangerous, it is much safer than attacking Sabody Archipelago. Advertisement, at least they are facing a Marine, not a group of Marines. I agree too. If they were hesitant to attack Sabody Archipelago, then this plan completely made them determined. But how do we bring this Marine out? As far as I know, he has never left Sabody Archipelago since he admitted his fate. Don't worry, I have my own way, Rex said confidently. Since that Marine boarded the Sabody Archipelago, the first thing was to clear out all the pirates on the island, and the second thing was to seal up all the slave trade places on the island. It can be seen that the Marine he is a person who hates the slave trade. When the time comes, as long as we let the wind go, there will be a large slave trade organization on this island, and this place is not very far from Sabody Archipelago, so first think that Marine will come in person. What if that Marine doesn't come? Then he will definitely send his own hands down, and as long as we keep all his hands behind, I don't believe he will not come. Hearing Rex's words, everyone felt that Rex's plan was feasible. Even if some people were filled with hesitation, they gradually strengthened their resolve under the leadership of others. Seeing that all the captains he had convened had agreed to his plan this time, Rex smiled with satisfaction. But behind his smile, there was a hint of coldness. He didn't regard these people as partners, he just regarded them as a tool that could be used. After using it, you can discard it at will. If Rex hadn't been confident against Lister alone, he wouldn't have allied with these people at all. And Rex felt that these captains should all feel fortunate. If one of them refused, Rex would definitely deal with the other party without hesitation. Because Rex can't let anyone know that he plans to get or leave here, except for his tool people. Chapter 74. However, the captains of these pirate groups are not stupid. They are big pirates with a bounty of more than 100 million yuan, and they have not been caught by Marine until now. Almost all have some brains. They are not brave people, everyone. He has his own ghost thoughts in his heart, but at least on one point, they are united, and that is to completely get rid of the Marine named Riester. Okay. Now that you have agreed to my plan, 3 days later, we will gather here again. I will find a way to bring him here for the Marine. At that time, whether we can go to New World, it depends on you. What kind of skills can be used at that time? Rex did not think that his plan would fail, because he felt that with so many people in him, even if Marine Admiral came, they would be able to keep the other party behind, not to mention that the other party was just a small Marine Rear Admiral. Don't worry, Captain Rex, we will do our best to achieve our goal at that time, and Marine and the pirates are in a hostile relationship. If they are not active, wouldn't it make us fall into it, in a dangerous situation? Yeah. Seeing the statements of these captains, Rex was very satisfied. Well, everyone, please lead your pirate group to leave now, otherwise, we have already lost part of our troops before we can bring out the Marine. In this way, a conspiracy against Riester was thoroughly discussed, and we waited for the final implementation of the plan. In the marine base of Sabody archipelago, Rist is sleeping peacefully, without knowing that he has fallen into the calculations of others, and even if he knows it, it is estimated that Rist's character is not purpose. After all, he has absolute confidence in his own strength. As long as the person calculating him is not someone like Whitebeard or Kaido. The next day, a rumor appeared on the Sabody archipelago. On Yahi Island, a large slave auction will be held. It is said that there are giants, dwarves, various races, and even mermaids. The auction time is exactly 3 days later. Almost less than a morning, everyone on the Sabody archipelago knew about this, and that included Ryister. Bruce, what do you think of this matter? I don't know, but I always feel that this matter is full of weirdness. The news was disseminated too quickly, and before today, we didn't even get any news, as if it was deliberately disseminated, as if it tracked someone to Yahi Island. Bruce analyzed seriously. To become a general's adjutant, the first thing you must have is a smart mind. Although Bruce's IQ is not very good, he still has time to be online. Advertisement, yes, it's the same as I thought, but I feel that the person they're waiting for is me. Rex and the others would never have imagined that they had planned for so long to see through it at a glance. After all, if something is done too deliberately, it is too worth studying. If it is said that 10 days later, and it spreads slowly, Rist will probably not discover that this is a conspiracy, but to blame their group of pirates for being too anxious. Sir, what should we do? Bruce said with a serious face. He also felt that this matter was aimed at Riester. After all, they had faced several real conspiracies against Riester in the past 6 months. Since they want to catch turtles in the urn, then I will give them a plan. But I don't know why. After saying this, Riester always feels that something is wrong. What do you mean, sir? Aren't they trying to attract me to the past? Then I'll just go over. I want to see what they're planning. Riester tapped his fingers on the table regularly. Even if he knew it was a trap, Riester didn't care at all. This should be knowing that there are tigers in the mountains, but the tiger should be a docile kitten to Riester. No, this thing is too dangerous. Bruce immediately rejected Riester's proposal. His tone was so obligatory. Don't worry, you don't know what kind of strength I am, and I want to use this kind of conspiracy and tricks. The strength should not be very good. If it is a pirate like Kaido, Ant or Whitebeard, it is estimated that they would have hit it long ago. NS. That won't work either. Everything is possible. We can't determine what kind of strength the opponent is. Hearing Bruce's serious tone, Rist sighed helplessly. His adjutant is good everywhere, but a little too cautious. Advertisement, oh, then how can you let me go? Nothing, unless you let me go with you. Well, I will call you when the time comes. Riester is now thinking whether he wants Sengoku to replace him with an adjutant. He feels that Sengoku is looking for him not an adjutant, but a parent, guardian. The captains of the pirates also sent unknown little pirates on board to Sabody archipelago to inquire about the island. When they knew that the news had spread on the island, their hearts were very excited. Because they feel that their plan is about to succeed. 3 days passed quickly. On the same day, Rist left Sabody archipelago in a warship with Bruce and a few ordinary marines. Originally, Riester didn't plan to lead Bruce at first, and planned to knock him out, but he found that he couldn't drive a warship, and if he brought a few more ordinary marines, it would put them in danger. So there is no way, he can only bring Bruce, to protect the safety of the other ordinary marines. Of course, Bruce didn't know what Riester meant. He was with Riester just to perform the duties of an adjutant. When Riester's warship left Sabody archipelago, the captains of the pirate regiment had immediately received the message. After all, their spies have been monitoring marine bases' every move. However, to their surprise, since there were still a few noble ships sailing in the direction of Yahi Island, it seemed that they had taken the rumors spread by the pirates seriously. What about those nobles? A captain asked Rex. Just kill it together. As long as it's not celestial dragons, we will enter the new world anyway. Then it will be the world of our pirates, and Marine will not be able to control us. Okay, before leaving, do a big vote. Chapter 75 Candles and Bulbs. I don't know why, when the warship sailed to Yahi Island, the weather slowly darkened and the sky was gloomy. Sir, there seems to be something wrong on this island. Bruce came to Ryister's ear and said, he noticed the soldiers on their warships, their movements were already a bit frizzy. Well, it seems that the legend about Yahi Island is true? When learning that they had set the location on Yahi Island, Rist asked Bruce to check the situation on the island to see why they had set the location on this island. Then what shall we do? Are we going to move on? There are still several ships on board around them, and their changes have become frizzy with the naked eye. No, you stay here, and at the same time, you are responsible for protecting the safety of those nobles. Then what are you going to do? Bruce asked eagerly. Me? Of course I am going to see what conspiracy they're doing. After speaking, Rist flew directly in the direction of Yahi Island, without giving Bruce a chance to refute. Seeing Ryister's figure moving further and further away, Bruce was a bit stunned. He didn't seem to be that scary. Why Ryister couldn't wait to stay away from him. Sir Bruce, what should we do now? At this moment, a marine came over and asked Bruce. Slow down, pay attention to the surrounding conditions, and also pay attention to the conditions of the noble ships. Taking care of the nobles is only incidental. After all, this is also part of the responsibility of being a marine, but their own lives are more important than taking care of the nobles. If there is a conflict between the two, they will give up the former without hesitation. Rissel, who flew into the air, let go of his observation hockey to the greatest extent, and soon discovered that there were more than a dozen pirate ships on the other side of the island, and there were more than a dozen powerful oars on the island. As for the population auction, this is nothing but a fiction. Advertisement soon. The captains of those pirate regiments also noticed Ryister flying in the air, with a surprised expression directly in his eyes. They had imagined Ryister using various methods, but they didn't expect that he would come directly from playing in the air. However, they found that Ryister flew directly over their heads, as if directly ignoring them. No, what's the situation? Just ignore us, a pirate group captain asked suspiciously. Maybe you didn't see us, another pirate group captain replied. No, how'd I feel that he has other purposes, said a pirate group captain who seemed quite questioning. That place seems to be where our pirate ship is. Is it possible that he wants to attack our crew first? Suddenly, a pirate group captain made a bold guess. How is it possible? Our crew members total more than 3,000 people. No matter how strong the marine guy is, it can't be more than 3,000 in one pair, right? I don't know why, although they think this guess is very unreliable, but in their hearts they think this guess seems to be true. Then, just as they were still thinking about what Ryister's purpose was, the sound of shelling suddenly came from their ears, and the sound came from the direction of their fleet. In addition to the sound of shelling, there were also gunshots, but the sound of gunshots was not so obvious under the cover of the cannons. Sure enough, just as they had guessed, Ryister was going to take the lead in getting rid of the ordinary crew members. When his observation hockey felt the number of those crew members, Ryister had this idea in his heart. If there were only about 100 people, Rist would be able to keep them and train the marines he brought with him, but there were more than 3,000 people if they met with the warship he led. Even if all the soldiers brought by Ryister were elite soldiers in the army, in the face of such a huge number of people, it would not have much effect, so Ryister decided to defeat the ordinary crew members first. When Ryister reached the air of the pirate ships, he was immediately spotted by sharp-eyed people. Although they didn't know how Ryister flew in the air, when they saw the marine coat Ryister was wearing, you know, this guy in front of you is the enemy. Advertisement therefore, they did not hesitate to launch shelling and shooting at the position of Ryister in the air. The artillery fire of the dozens of pirate ships was not a joke. Dozens of shells exploded together, illuminating the dim sky a little. This kind of scene was naturally seen by the marines and the nobles on the warship. Marine had already had some psychological preparations, knowing that the purpose of this visit was to fight, but the nobles were scared and fled. They were here to participate in the auction, not to participate in the war. Adjutant, the sir will be fine, right? Don't worry, I know his strength better than anyone else. We only need to guard the surroundings to prevent other pirate groups from appearing in front of us. Yes, Adjutant. The pirates who fired the artillery fire were caught in excitement and madness, because it was impossible for the marine to survive such a large artillery fire. But soon, the smiles on their faces were solidified, and when the gunfire disappeared, Ryister appeared in front of them unharmed, and even the marine coat he was wearing was not damaged in any way. How can it be? All pirates are unbelievable, although they also knew that their own shells couldn't completely hit the opponent, but those dozens of shells could hit one or two, but looking at the opponent's appearance, it seemed that there weren't even one or two. Come and not be indecent, you are done, it should come to me now. After finishing speaking, Ryister put his hands on his shoulders directly. Bachichanguyu. I saw that Rist directly turned into a huge golden light, and countless light bullets were shot out from this huge golden light. If the artillery fire just now lighted a candle to the dim sky, then the light radiating from Ryister's body now was to light a light bulb in the dim sky. Countless light bombs rushed directly to the pirate boats, and the pirates on the ship immediately showed a panic expression. The light bombs concentrated on the hulls and easily destroyed the hulls. Adding the inflammable and explosive materials on the ship directly caused the ship to explode, and a fire broke out. Under this blow, their troops were at least damaged by more than half. The rest of the people who survived, Rist did not regardless, because he believes his soldiers can handle it well. Chapter 76 The Lost Captains of the Pirate Group. At this time, the captains of the pirate regiment who were on the island were also a little confused. Although they didn't know what happened, the sound from the direction of their fleet did not seem to be that impressive. The continuous explosions, as well as the fiery red sky reflected, all told them that their pirate ship had suffered heavy losses. Damn it, that marine, I must give him to pieces. A pirate group captain said angrily. What the others didn't notice was that a blood-red breath appeared on his body, and a red light flashed in his eyes. Although other pirate group captains have this kind of evil aura, but it is not as serious as this person, but it also affects their reason and ability to judge. It stands to reason that when Ryister shows this kind of strength, their hearts should be frightened and timid, because they all know that in the face of the strength Ryister just showed, they are not opponents at all. But now, not only are they not afraid, but their hearts are still full of fighting spirit. Having said that, they wanted to run towards the direction of the fleet, but when they were just about to move, a golden light suddenly appeared in front of them all. When the golden light dissipated, the figure of Rist appeared. Seeing Rist in the marine uniform, the captains of the pirate regiment became even more angry, and their sanity seemed to have been more affected. Feeling their state, Rist frowned, because he had spotted the captains, and there seemed to be something wrong. The aura exuding from them is too tyrannical. It doesn't look like what can be emitted from human beings, but like monsters. It is not enough to describe them as animals or fierce beasts. They must be monsters. It's human, but it's not human anymore. Although there are still captains who have not been completely eroded by this breath, their brains have lost the most basic ability to judge. They only know that the guy in front of them is their enemy. You marine, die for me. Suddenly, a person rushed over at Rist with a machete. For this kind of monster that had lost his sanity, Rist did not evade his attack at all. Advertisement loss of reason means that their attacks are completely based on their own instincts, so it is easy to identify their attack path, and even if they have not lost their minds, Rist will not be able to deal with people of this kind of strength. Need to avoid. I saw that Ryister's index finger was shining with golden light, and then a laser suddenly flew out of Ryister's fingertips and shot through the man's shoulder. The moment the laser shot through that person's body, there was a slight sluggishness in his movements, and then he continued to rush towards Rist without knowing the pain. It seems that the evil breath has paralyzed their nerves, making them lose their pain. Ryister analyzed their current state in an instant. Now among them, only Rex and Andre remained awake. They saw that their previous companions had become this monster-like thing. To be honest, their hearts were already a little flustered. NS. Although they had heard the legend about Yahi Island before, they didn't take it seriously, but now it seems that Yahi Island is far more terrifying than the legend they heard. Rex, what should we do? Judging from the hideous expressions of the two people, their state at this time is not very good either, as if they are resisting the evil aura in their bodies. I do not know either. Rex somewhat wanted to retreat, but he was unwilling to give up this opportunity. If they leave now, it means that they have completely lost their way to New World. Originally, these captains were fine just now, but after knowing that Rist had destroyed their ship and killed the crew, they were in this state. Seeing these captains who are not afraid of death, their hearts are indeed shrinking. They don't want to become such monsters. I originally wanted to bring you in to impel down, but it seems that this situation can only completely wipe out you. Having said that, Ryister's next laser shot directly through the opponent's head, and the opponent's body softened and lay directly on the ground, and the dead could not die again. Suddenly, a pirate appeared behind Ryister's head and shot directly through Ryister's head, but to their surprise, they didn't know when the bullet passed through Ryister's head. Seeing the scene where their brains burst as they expected. Advertisement instead, the hole shot through the head quickly healed. This scene completely shocked Rex and Andre. They didn't expect that each other would be shot through their heads and they wouldn't even be able to die. I really underestimated you. I didn't expect to sneak attack after losing my mind. It seems that I am going to make a quick fight. After finishing talking, Ryister's feet were shining with golden light, and he kicked directly and sent away the other guy who wanted to sneak off. The power of the speed of light kick is not just for their ordinary little pirates who have just over 100 million bounty, can bear it. The body was kicked out of the island directly by this foot. No, hurry up. The two people who had some fluke mentality, the scene of the intercourse, completely gave up. Even if they tried their best, they were definitely not the opponents of this marine. They made a mistake. Not only did they make a mistake and choose the wrong battlefield, but they also made a mistake to underestimate Ryister's strength. Oh, I didn't expect that there are still two sober guys. At this time, Ryister's voice suddenly sounded in their ears, which sounded like a demon whispering in their ears, giving them a shuddering feeling. When the two of them came back to their senses, Ryister had appeared in front of the two of them, blocking their retreat. The aura that saves you two is the strongest here. It seems that one of you is the mastermind of this matter, or both of you are the mastermind. Rist said in a tone of voice. Although the evil aura on this island does not invade his mind all the time, it is of no use to him at all. His willpower is already very firm, and there is almost no interference with his will. Something appeared. Chapter 77. Hearing Rist's words, the eyes of the two people flashed fiercely. Both of them are now grasshoppers on the same rope. Even if they confessed that Rex was the mastermind of this matter, Rist did not. We'll let Andre go. I saw that Rex's body changed directly, turning into a Tyrannosaurus Rex, exuding a fierce aura. Is Zone Devil Fruit grown in ancient times? This is the first time I have seen it. Rist wanted to take off the blindfold to see what the ancient species looked like, but he gave up. He didn't want to gain a useless ability. But Rex's size grew, but his speed was not slow at all, and he came directly in front of Lister and bit him on his body. And Andre also drew out his knife, and saw that a flame was wrapped around his knife. It was a bit like Devil Fruit's ability, but it was not Devil Fruit's ability. Afterwards, Andre also took out the knife of the carrier flame and slashed towards Rist. Although I am not afraid of your attacks, I don't want to feel the drool of that big guy. After speaking, Rist directly transformed the Sky Kong Yun sword, and when one of his great swordsmen took out the sword, the battle could almost come to an end. Although their strength is very good, but in the face of the strength of the great swordsman, it is not enough at all. Slash wave. The sharp slash cut the ground for a while, causing a smooth cut on the ground, and Rex was directly split in half because of his delayed action. As for that Andre, he escaped by chance, because the attack was not directed at him. But he was also forced to give up his attack. Now you are the only one left here. Rist looked at Andre lightly in front of him. Although he didn't know what kind of expression Andre was like now, he could feel that the expression on Andre's face was definitely not that beautiful. I didn't expect your strength to be so powerful, it completely exceeded all of us' expectations. A wry smile appeared on Andre's face. When they saw Lister's strength, they knew how naive their original ideas were. A person like you appeared in Marine, and told us the pirates, it's really unfortunate. Advertisement there is something free and easy in Andre's tone, maybe he has already accepted his fate. He knew that facing Lister alone, he had no chance of living. No way, who makes you pirates, burns, kills, loots, and does everything, and my appearance is to wipe out you completely. Ha ha ha, what a good point, but there are a few clean people among you Marines. When he said this, Andre's tone went crazy. This also lets Lister know that Andre may have some special reasons for becoming Marine, but this does not allow Lister to forgive the fact that the other party is already a pirate. Come on, let's fight the last battle in my life. To be able to die in the hands of a powerful swordsman like you, I die without regret. After finishing speaking, I saw Andre holding the sword in both hands. The sword was surrounded by flames, and his body exuded a strong sword intent. If this is the case, then I will ruin you like a swordsman. After finishing speaking, Rist dissipated the sky cloud sword in his hand and pulled out Feng Yin from his waist. The name of this sword is Feng Yin, and it is one of the 21 jobs of the Great Sharp Sword. Lister took the lead in reporting to his home. The name of this sword is Blaze, and it is one of the 21 jobs of the Great Knife. Andre also said the name of his saber. I hope you can treat my sword well after I die. Finally, Andre said this again. He knew that he would definitely not be Ryister's opponent, and his saber would eventually become Ryister's trophy. Don't worry. The sword is the life of a swordsman, and I know what to do with it. Thanks a lot. Then, there was a hint of relief on Andre's face, but in the next moment, his expression became very serious. I hope your excellency will not be merciful, let me see how big the gap is between me and the great swordsman. I will. Advertisement afterwards, Andre directly raised the flames and rushed towards Lister. The flame on the knife seemed to have been released to ultimate, and he swung it directly at Lister. The expression on Ryister's face is also rare and serious. Lushin sword, thorn. As if it was a flash of lightning, Ryister's figure came directly behind Andre. When Lister slowly put the knife away, Andre's body finally fell down, and a puff of blood came out of Andre's neck, as if it was an afterthought. If you don't become a pirate, maybe you can become a good swordsman in the future. Rist said to Andre's corpse, then squatted down and took out the flames directly from his hand. Although Ryister has not used the double sword flow, he can instantly become a great swordsman of the double sword flow. After all, Golden Lion's swordsmanship is the double sword flow. When Ryister uses the double sword flow, he can completely let Ryister's swordsmanship be used to ultimate. But after thinking about it, Ryister gave up this idea. Now he has extended his own style from Golden Lion's swordsmanship. If he uses the double knife style again, it will take some time to extend his own style. And Rist felt that the sword style was even more handsome. But Ryister didn't plan to hand over the knife to Marine, he wanted to keep it for himself, and then find a destined person to give it to him. Although the famous knife can be regarded as a kind of collectible, it is also an insult to the knife to store the knife. But this island is no longer necessary. This island is too dangerous. If someone else enters this island by mistake, something unexpected will happen, so Rist intends to completely solve the hidden dangers of this island. I saw Rist flying into the air, pulling out the wind. The sword intent on his body was almost staring, even on the warship off the island. The Marines felt the tingling sensation from their skin. Super Slash Wave. This trick is an enhanced version of Slash Wave and a trick created by Riester himself. Although it is Super Slash Wave, it has little to do with Slash Wave. With the wave of Lister's wind chant, a huge golden sword aura flew out directly, and this evil aura full of evil aura was instantly divided into two halves under this sword. Just after Riester felt that the matter was over, a voice suddenly reached his ears. Cry. Chapter 78. Chapter 78. In this scream, Rist actually felt that his mind had been affected. What is this stuff? In Lister's observation hockey, I suddenly felt a very strong vitality, which obviously hadn't been there before. I saw that a black giant bird flew out from the island that was divided into two halves, and it was exuding an evil aura. Rist could feel that all the evil auras on this island came from this one. From the strange bird's body. Does such a monster still exist in Pirate World? Riester's heart is a little weird. If it were sea kings, Ryister could understand it, but this strange bird clearly didn't grow in the sea. Could it be a Uranus? But this Uranus class is also too special. It can emit gas that affects the heart of living beings. And Marine on the warship naturally heard the chirping of this strange bird. Bruce immediately ordered to stay away from this place, because he had noticed that his soldiers were under that chirping, and some people's eyes turned red. Even his mind fluctuated for a moment. I saw that the strange bird stared at Rist with an angry gaze, seeming to blame him for disturbing his rest. Rist's expression also became very solemn, and the aura from this strange bird was comparable to Marine Admiral. Cry. The strange bird screamed again, then opened its mouth to Lister, and saw a strong black wind forming in the beak of the strange bird, and then sprayed directly in the direction of Lister's wind. The wind blade carried in the strong wind is no weaker than the sword aura of a swordsman. In this strong wind, at least thousands of wind blades are carried. Really a tricky guy. Riester pulled out the seal again, and then with a wave, the strong wind was instantly split in half before it came in front of Riester, and dissipated in the direction of both sides of Riester. And the sword energy didn't dissipate, and it directly attacked the strange bird. But facing this sword aura, this strange bird also did not hide, flapping its own wings directly. Several wind blades were formed with the waving of the wings, colliding with Riester's sword aura, and cancelling each other out. NS. Cry. Advertisement. The strange bird screamed again, but this time it was like an offensive horn, rushing directly towards Lister. With a huge body, Lister looked like a dwarf in front of him. The opponent's sharp beak aimed at Rist, as if he wanted to pierce his body, and Rist discovered that the opponent's sharp beak turned black, indicating that this strange bird is the master armament hockey. Rist also used a knife to make a defense. The dark knife collided with the dark mouth. The momentum generated by the collision between the two caused waves of circular waves in the sea, centered on the two. Seeing this scene, Bruce's hand holding the ship's edge was already violent. He wanted to step forward to help, but with his strength, he couldn't do anything at all, and instead would become a burden. Unexpectedly, even armament hockey is the master? This is what surprised Rist the most. There are many huge creatures in this world, even creatures the size of an island. But apart from humans, the creature of master armament hockey is the first time that Ryister has encountered it. Of course, some exceptionally talented creatures are not ruled out. For example, like Alabasta's manatee, they succeeded in mastering armament hockey 2 years later. In this collision, there was no difference between the two sides. One person and one beast retreated a certain distance back at the same time. But shortly afterwards, Rist was directly elementalized, came to the back of the strange bird, and directly inserted a knife into its body. Then the strange bird screamed again, but this sound was full of anger and pain. I saw the body of the strange bird trembling quickly, and directly flew Lister out. Looking at the villain in front of him, his eyes were full of anger. Cry. Amidst this cry, the surface of the strange bird changed, and the originally black feathers now looked a little reflective, just like that steel. Is the whole body covered in arm color? It seems that this guy has a lot of hockey reserves. Covering armament hockey all over the body is something Riester can do, but it consumes too much hockey. This kid is a little difficult. Advertisement, however, this is just a little difficult for Lister, not for nothing. Armament hockey is covered all over, which means that armament hockey has been scattered, and only if Riester concentrates all hockey on the knife in his hand, it is entirely possible to cut off the opponent's armament hockey. After all, armament hockey is also divided into strengths and weaknesses. Immediately afterwards, one person and one beast rushed towards the opponent again. The black knife collided with the black feathers, and suddenly sparks splashed at the junction. There was no use to attack the opponent's feathers. Even if the armament hockey on his feathers was cut off, it can't cause any substantial harm to him. So Rist must use hockey on the parts that are enough to kill him. Every time the opponent waved his wings, there would be a wind blade that was no weaker than the sword slash, but this wind blade did not cause any substantial damage to Rist. The two sides are now at a stage where no one can do anything about it. Although the strange bird is not a human being, it has a very high IQ and is very vigilant. It protects all the important parts of the body to death, and does not give Riester a chance. Next, I won't be giving you a chance. Hearing Rist's words, the strange bird's expression showed a hint of confusion and sarcasm. Because with the strength demonstrated by this human just now, it is impossible to treat him like that. Afterwards, the terrifying Conqueror's hockey erupted directly from Rist's body and crushed the strange bird. As long as there is no Conqueror's hockey, no matter how strong the opponent is, they will be more or less affected by Conqueror's hockey. And Riester's Conqueror's hockey is still more powerful than One Piece Roger, Conqueror's. Suddenly, the strange bird's heart began to warn madly. His spirit just now appeared in a trance, and letting a master of their level fight, a slight carelessness is enough to be fatal. And during this period, his armament hockey covering his whole body has also been weakened. When he came back to his senses, Lister had already reached the most vulnerable place under his body, around his neck. Farewell. Afterwards, the sword light flashed, and the strange bird didn't feel the pain at all, and fell directly from the sky. When it fell to the surface of the sea, its head and body had already branched out. Chapter 79. The current situation of Sabody land. This time Marine can be said to have won a complete victory without losing a single soldier. He directly wiped out a dozen or so pirate groups with a bounty of more than 100 million yuan. When Lister reported the matter, Marshal Sengoku gave it he had a good compliment. After all, there are only those pirate groups that can be promoted each year with a bounty of more than 100 million yuan. This year, except for those who have gone to the New World, all those who stayed in the first half of the Grand Line have been wiped out by Riester. This military merit has been properly promoted to Marine Vice Admiral, but because of his age, he has not been promoted. If Admiral's position is not full, Ryister's strength is enough to become the youngest in history, Admiral. Of course, this news was also publicized by Marine. Some young people who were planning to be pirates were ready to move. After seeing this news, they died down and turned and plunged into Marine's arms. Just kidding, more than a dozen pirate groups with a bounty of more than 100 million won't be able to beat a Marine Rear Admiral. What use are they doing as pirates? This has also allowed an explosive increase in the number of people who signed up as Marine in various Marine branches. And those pirates who were planning to go to New World saw this news, and they were completely silent. The dozen or so captains of the pirate group with a bounty of more than 100 million were not opponents of that Marine. They were crooked melons, not to mention. They just went to die in vain. At this time, the Grand Line has fallen into an unprecedented peace since the era of the great pirates. All the people living here are grateful for the existence of Riester. Because of him, this place can become so peaceful and safe. Although Rist cannot do everything, his appearance is also a deterrent to the pirates. What Rist didn't know was that he had become a hero, a goal, and a beacon of progress in the minds of some people. The peaceful life probably lasted for more than 2 months. Within these 2 months, there was no pirate group on the surface of Sabody archipelago, but the merchant ships had a certain number of growth, and all of them were merchant ship heading to New World. Soon after, they got the news that the so-and-so pirate group successfully entered the New World. It turned out that some pirate groups lowered the pirate flag when they approached the Sabody archipelago and disguised their pirate ship as a merchant ship. The crew also put on makeup and disguise to deceive Marine's eyeliner. Lowering the pirate flag in front of outsiders is a great shame to the pirates, but there is no way. This is the only way they can think of to go to New World. But I have to say that this trick is really easy to use. In a pirate group, there are only a few individuals who have bounties. As long as they disguise well, the probability of Marine discovering them is very low. Advertisement, sir. Now many pirate groups have used this method to sneak into the New World. What should we do? Bruce asked Riester. It doesn't matter, as long as they don't make trouble in Sabody archipelago, and if they don't send some fresh blood to New World, it is estimated that the old guys inside should not be able to sit still. At this time, there are many people in New World with ambitions and want to further expand their pirate group, and then start to compete with other powerful pirate groups, but the first step of the strong pirate group is manpower. So these pirates can also be said to be deliberately letting them go by Riester. A pirate who can lay down his dignity is either not a threat to Marine at all, or is able to pose a huge threat to Marine. Pirates who can let go of their dignity can only have these two results in the end. And I don't think I can be in this position for long. Rist said another silently. In the Sabody archipelago, Riester blocked the way for many people. What is the most profitable thing? Slaves are the most profitable, but Riester is here, and all the human trafficking places have been closed down. Among the forces behind them, many of them have aristocratic people. Some of them directly filed a complaint with naval headquarters, saying that Riester was corrupt, and some directly put pressure on Marine, hoping that Riester would leave Sabody archipelago. What's more, they took the initiative to send money to naval headquarters, hoping that naval headquarters could promote Riester, mobilize him back to the headquarters. When Sengoku told Rist about the last situation, he himself felt a little funny. He knew that Sengoku could help him carry it for a while, but this time could not last long. As soon as he leaves, this place will return to its previous state. Murlocs will become prey when they appear in the Sabody archipelago. Unlike now, they dare to appear in the sight of humans in an open manner. Some mermaids who have never seen the sky also came to Sabody archipelago because of the existence of Rist. Advertisement. Although some people were obsessed with money and kidnapped a mermaid at the beginning, when Rist was killed by thunder, there was no one who gave birth to this kind of thought, or they did, but they didn't dare to give and act anymore. Now when most people on the island see a mermaid, there will be a heart shape in their eyes, and they can't walk in a daze. Bruce, do you say that this world really can only be like this, can't make changes? Riester stood in front of the window, feeling the emotions of everyone on the island, and asked in a sigh. I don't know, sir, but I think if I have enough strength, everything can be changed. But don't those admiral have to obey the orders of the celestial dragons? Upon hearing these words, Bruce was silent. After serving in Ryister for so long from the beginning to now, he has never seen celestial dragons, or he didn't want to meet celestial dragons. Every time he senses the existence of celestial dragons, he will change direction. When he learned that celestial dragons had come to Marine base to find him and ordered him to leave Sabody archipelago, he would leave these matters to his adjutant. The kind of people who are still in a high position, who are obviously nothing but arrogant, don't know how they grew up. Perhaps the seemingly beautiful celestial dragons are also somebody's puppets. If I leave here, it will be a hell on earth for the mermaid. Riester sighed. But also because of your presence, sir. Smiles appear on their faces now. Bruce said seriously, as the adjutant who has followed Riester for more than half a year, he can say that he knows Riester very well. Chapter 80 Underground Killer Organization New World, Pamela Island. Although there are no pirates on this island, it is strange that everyone on this island exudes a strong murderous aura. If you want to form such a murderous aura, you must at least kill. It can only be formed when more than 100 people die. Everyone has more or less scars on their face or body, and they carry weapons with them. On this island, there are hardly any ordinary people, big waves, small tattoos, big bald head, big guys can be seen everywhere. This is the base camp of an underground assassin organization. Everyone here is a battle-tested assassin. Although most of the people here are also on Marine's reward order, Marine's control of assassins is obviously not against the sea. The thief is so strict. At this time, in a building on this island, there is a bulletin board in it, and there are various tasks on this bulletin board, among which the task at the top of the bulletin board is to kill Sabody Archipelago. The base chief of Marine Base, mission reward, 1.5 billion Baileys. At the top of the rewards list, even people like Whitebeard, Garp, and Sengoku are below Lister. The reason why Lister has such a high reward is entirely made up by the nobles. This is not a reward for Lister by one person, but a reward for Lister by a few people or even a dozen people in total. Invest tens of millions of Baileys, and there are hundreds of millions of Baileys. This is why Lister has such a high bounty. Although Whitebeard is the strongest man in the world, he has nothing to do with the nobles and does not block their way of making money. But Lister is different. Sitting in the most important location of the Grand Line is also one of the most prosperous islands. There are countless people who want to put him to death. Although all the killers were eager to give this reward, they were very sensible and did not touch the thorny potato. The news of their killer organization is still very easy. Even a pirate with a bounty of more than 100 million can be killed as easily as cutting melons and vegetables, so they are not much better in the face of this marine. But at this moment, the door of this room was suddenly opened. When I saw the appearance of the people coming, all the people in the room were silent, as if they didn't even dare to breathe. For fear of disturbing this man, I saw the man walk directly to the side of the task board, and neatly tore off the task with the highest reward listed on the bulletin board, that is, the task of Rist to kill Rist. Everyone was stunned, and after the man left, the talents here became noisy again. That guy is Harris, right? One of the assassins said tremblingly. Advertisement. That's right, that guy, such a terrifying murderous aura, only that guy can radiate. It looks like that marine is going to be unlucky, and he was spotted by the second in command. Harris is the second in command of their killer organization. Although he is the second in command, he is the most powerful person in the recognized organization. Even the boss of their organization is not an opponent of Harris. Although the two men have never fought, this is recognized by everyone in the organization. Unlike the boss who often sits on Pamela Island, their second in command Harris can't see people on this island several times a year, because he is either on the mission or on the way to the mission. Although there are several killer organizations in the underground world, Harris is indeed in existence recognized by all killer organizations. Even the most powerful assassin organization in the underground world has solicited Harris, but he was caught by him, ruthlessly rejected it. And Harris is also the focus of the world government. If Marine is tolerant of other killers, then there is zero tolerance for this Harris, because Harris has successfully assassinated the nobles of the countries joining the world government several times. It is one of the existences that the world government absolutely cannot forgive. But no one knows what his face looks like. He usually wears a mask, just showing his eyes, and none of the tasks Harris accepts is unfinished. It can be said that everyone who knew what Harris looked like was dead. The picture on his world government reward order is a picture of him wearing black clothes with only one eye exposed, and the reward is 790 million Baileys. This is currently the first reward besides the pirates. People with such a high goal. Naval headquarters also received news that Harris had taken over the mission from Lister. After all, although their marine has no right to speak in New World, they are undercovers no matter which pirate group or organization they're in. What? That Harris is going to assassinate List. Sengoku picked up the obedient worm, heard the news from the other side, and said angrily. Yes, Marshal, Harris did indeed take over the task of assassinating Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral List. Okay, I see, you continue to lurch there, pay attention to safety. Yes, Marshal. Advertisement, unexpectedly, the people from the underground world would come and get involved again, those damned nobles. At this moment, even Sengoku couldn't help but curse at the group of nobles. You must know that in the past, such words would never come out of Sengoku's mouth. Sengoku naturally also knows the reason why Lister's bounty is so high in the underground world. Sengoku, don't worry, isn't it just a Harris? The bounty is less than 1 billion. Rist's strength should be able to easily deal with him. Garp, sitting on the sofa, naturally heard the news. This Harris is different. His bounty does not match his strength. Through our various news channels, it is enough to prove that this Harris has Admiral strength. Admiral strength? Hearing these words, Garp's expression also became serious. To be honest, the range of Admiral's strength is very general, but it is undeniable that it is definitely one of the top powerhouses on the sea. Is Admiral's strength bounty only so small? Because this Harris is not active frequently, and most of the targets of assassination are pirates. Even the nobles who assassinated are those who roused public outrage, so his bounty is not very high. That's it, so he is a good person. Huh, everyone who assassinates a world government official is a villain. Sengoku said dissatisfiedly. However, even with Admiral's strength, Lister should have no problem dealing with him. Just take this opportunity to observe how far Lister's strength has reached. Lister's previous performances did not allow them to observe Lister's strength. Killing a dozen or so pirate groups with a bounty of more than $100 million can be achieved by any prize-level combat power within Marine. As for the weird bird comparable to Admiral, Rist also managed to get rid of the opponent unscathed. Chapter 81 The Killer Arrives, one of the most powerful killers in the world? Hearing the news from the phone worm, Riester muttered silently. He had already heard the news from Marshal Sengoku. Don't worry, Marshal, it's okay, it's just a killer, there won't be any serious problems. Okay, but you have to be careful. Naharis is said to be a master assassin. Most of his assassination targets have died before seeing him. I see, Marshal, if nothing happens, you can prepare the 790 million bounty in advance. Haha, you kid, okay, I'm waiting for your good news. After that, Sengoku hung up the phone, and Bruce, who was standing next to Rist, had a solemn face. He had also heard the rumors about Harris, that the probability of completing the task was 100%, and he had never missed it. Sir, should we take precautions in advance? Bruce said to Riester. No, if he is really as scary as the rumors, no matter how rigorously he is deployed in front of him, it will be like a fake, especially a person who is good at assassination. Although Rist is not good at assassinations himself, with his strength, he can easily sneak in no matter how the Marines in their bases are deployed. Yes, sir. Afterwards, Bruce retired. By the way, collect a copy of Harris's information and send me a copy. Yes, sir. Not long after, Harris walked in with a stack of materials, and Rist took off the blindfold on his head and read it carefully. Oh roar, is this Harris interesting? Advertisement. After reading Harris' information, Rist was a little surprised in his heart. He looked at all of Harris's mission targets, most of them were the vicious big pirates. Even the nobles he assassinated were unpopular, or used the identity of the noble to do dirty tricks. From this information, this Harris should be a person who is full of justice in his heart and punishes evil and promotes good, but why did he come to me? Rist thought in confusion. He asked himself to be very good for the people of Sabody archipelago. It stands to reason that he shouldn't be targeted by Harris. Although Rist said that Marines' deployment should not be too rigorous, just as before, but Bruce obviously did not listen to him. The number of soldiers patrolling at his door has become more and more frequent, and the frequency has also become much more frequent. It can be said that it is a bit dead. Kakuzu does not, and a fly can't fly in. And recently, more and more people have come to Sabody archipelago. They seem to be people from the underground world or other forces, but they don't have any rewards or criminal records, so Marine is not good at arresting them. They came here for only one purpose, and that is to see if this Marine Rear Admiral will solve Harris. It is no secret that Harris took over the task of assassinating Rist, but all the powerful forces entrenched in the Grand Line and New World have already learned the news. Some strengths can't wait to hope that Riester will be killed by Harris quickly, while others hope Riester can win and let Sabody archipelago continue to maintain this situation. Time passed day by day, and soon half a month had passed. At this time, some forces were already waiting anxiously. Why did Harris have not taken any action? This was a question in their hearts. Some forces have even retired, because they think Harris has given up on this mission and are afraid of Riester's strength, so they hide. Only those who really understand Harris know that Harris is looking for the best time. Most of Harris's targets are almost killed in one shot, rarely making a second shot. And just today, sitting in the office, Riester suddenly felt an extreme anxiety in his heart, which made him directly apply observation hockey to ultimate. His observation hockey has been trained to predict the future in 3 seconds. Riester doesn't know if his observation hockey can be among the best in the entire sea, but at least among Marine, his observation hockey is absolutely top. And just now, his observation hockey predicted that in 3 seconds, he would be shot headshot. 3 seconds passed very quickly. When the time reached the strength, Riester immediately left the office chair with elementalization. When Riester left, a bullet shot directly through the window behind Riester, shooting the table pierced the chair surface and shot directly into the floor. Advertisement. Hearing this sound, Marine, who had been waiting outside, opened the door and rushed in. Sir, are you okay? The 2 Marines asked anxiously. Soon after, the other Marines ran in quickly. I'm fine. Riester's face was a little gloomy. He really almost died just now. Armament hockey was attached to the bullet. If Riester hadn't foreseen the future in advance, even if he was a sparkling fruit-capable person, it would be of no use. It seems I really underestimated this Harris. A hint of danger was revealed in Riester's gaze. At least it proved that Harris has the world's top strength in sniper level. Almost everyone on the left and right of Sabody archipelago heard this gunshot, and they didn't know how the bullet made such a loud sound. And the people of other forces who heard this voice showed an excited expression on their faces, and their half-month wait was not in vain. The battle is finally about to begin. You stay here, I will go to meet this killer for a while. Sir, be careful. Bruce said. He doesn't even know where the enemy is now, and he can't help Riester at all. Don't worry, in this world, the person who can kill me hasn't been born yet. Afterwards, Riester directly controlled a stone and flew out. It is not suitable to reveal the ability of sparkling fruit in front of the public. Although he has used sparkling fruit many times, anyone who knows that he has this ability is either Marine or dead, except for Kaido and Golden Lion. But no one has publicized this matter. But there are more fruits that can fly, lion fruit, gravity fruit and other fruits, and there are no conspicuous features. As long as Riester doesn't say it, no one can guess. Chapter 82 Riester vs Harris. And while Riester was flying in the direction of the shooting, there were a few more gunshots. All the bullets that hit Riester were split by the wind in his hand, splitting them in half. The bullet flew directly from either side of Ryister's body. Soon, Rist arrived in front of Harris. At this time, Harris did not stand on the ground, nor did he use other abilities to stabilize himself in the air. Instead, he caught it with the paws of a big white bird. Took his clothes. Because the big white bird flaps its wings all the time, Harris' body is also up and down, but even if it is, Harris can still hit Riester at such an ultra-long distance. Forehead. Looking at Sabody archipelago from this direction, the defense line can only see a small point clearly. This is still seen from the air. If it is at sea level, Sabody archipelago will not be visible at all. You are Harris? Riester had asked knowingly now, since he dared to take action against himself, then whether or not Harris, Riester had no reason to keep him. Of course. But I didn't expect that your mere Marine Rear Admiral would be able to dodge my first bullet. Your strength is more than enough to be a Vice Admiral. When Harris is performing all missions to assassinate the target, there are few who can block his first bullet. Even the few who can block his first bullet, all those who are strong in defense, use armament hockey came to defend, but he was able to dodge, and Riester was the first. But I really want to know, why did you choose me as your target? Riester asked the doubt in his heart. It's very simple, because your bounty is the highest in the underground world, and your strength is not that powerful. Really? But since you don't tell the truth, forget it. Anyway, I have no interest in why you chose me. Come on, let me take a look. What is your strength, right? Harris didn't talk nonsense with Rist, and directly controlled the big bird to land on the island under his feet. It seems that you even chose the cemetery for yourself. Riester also fell, and the two stood opposite each other. No, this is your cemetery. After finishing talking, Harris fired a shot directly at Riester. The speed was very fast, and the gun was also specially modified. Not only did Harris act fast, but even the bullets flew fast in the air. Advertisement, however, there was a flash of silver light in front of Rist, and the round bullet was split in two instantly, with a very smooth incision in the middle. Afterwards, Riester's body also moved forward quickly, slashing at Harris's head. However, Harris's reaction speed was not slow, and he directly blocked the top of his head with the gun in his hand, blocking Riester's sword. Oh, so you know more than just sniper skills? Riester said in a surprised tone. Of course, if I were only a sniper, then I would not have the ability to achieve such a high position in the killer world. Afterwards, Harris' two hands held the same end of the gun, and Riester's knife also slashed towards the other end. Immediately after Harris used another force, under the interaction of the forces, Riester and Harris withdrew a certain distance at the same time. After that, Harris drew a pistol from his waist and fired 6 bullets directly at Riester, and these 6 bullets turned in midair and hit Riester directly from 6 different directions. Gunfighting? It's the first time I've seen it. These 6 directions almost completely sealed Riester's retreat. Forcing Rist to make a frontal defense, under the action of observation hockey, Rist had a foreboding which part of his body the 6 bullets would shoot, so he had already covered armament hockey in advance. Ding, 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 6 paths sounded like steel and saw the collision. Nature collided with Riester's skin and sparks were generated, and then nature flew directly in the other direction. I didn't expect your armament hockey to be so powerful, it really surprised me. Seeing Riester defended all his attacks without injury, Harris was also a little surprised. The first bullet Riester was hiding, and the other bullets were split by Riester using swordsmanship, so he subconsciously thought that Riester's armament hockey was not very powerful, but now it seems that Riester is almost a man. Almighty. At your age, you are the first person I have seen who has cultivated two-color hockey to such a degree. Advertisement, then I would like to say thank you for your compliment, but I said that the quantity of things is far beyond your imagination. After finishing speaking, a terrifying aura suddenly burst out of Rist's body, directly pressing on Harris. What? Harris's eyes widened, with an expression of disbelief. Rist would understand armament hockey or observation hockey, but there was conqueror's hockey, which was unexpected. But Harris' face only changed a little, and then returned to normal immediately. In the next second, his body exploded with the same aura as Riester. The golden aura and the red aura formed a stalemate in midair, but it was obvious that the golden aura had the upper hand, just like the Earth and the Moon. The size between the two sentiments is completely incomparable. After that, the two auras rose into the sky at the same time, and the figures of the two people also moved at the same time. I didn't expect you to have conqueror's hockey, Riester said. This sentence should be me to you. I didn't expect that outside of Marshal Sengoku, Marine would even make someone with conqueror's hockey a general officer. Is it possible that Marine will train you as the next Marshal Marine? While fighting, Harris also said to Rist, who knows? The fight between two people is not a ruining scene. Although both people have conqueror's hockey, although both have admiral-like strength, Harris is good at long-range attacks. Although he knows how to fight spears, his melee attacking ability is not worth mentioning in front of the great swordsman Rist. When attacking in melee combat, Harris is always at a disadvantage. Even in admiral's strength, Harris is also in the weaker range. If it is at long range, Harris is definitely an invincible version of existence. But now he has reached a close combat distance with Riester. Chapter 83 Conquering Harris. Harris' face became more and more ugly. Although he was wearing a mask and did not see the specific expression on his face, his facial features were already wrinkled together. Riester's offensive is getting more and more fierce. This is still the case that Riester has not made a full shot, otherwise, Harris has already been defeated. In close combat situations, his sniper skills can only play an auxiliary interference and unexpected role. At this time, the outcome of the battle has been decided. Since you came to me, you must be ready to die. Rist raised the sword high, and the terrifying sword intent burst out directly from Feng Yin. There was a strong wind directly around, which directly scraped off the black mask on Harris' face, revealing a delicate face. Blue hair is very rare even in the pirate world. However, at this moment, Harris had not taken care of the concealment on his face. He felt the danger of death. With the sword aura and killing intent emanating from Ryister's body, Harris felt that Ryister was serious. It's worth dying to see a marine like you before you die. Harris felt a kind of free and easy emotion in his heart. Ryister leapt directly in front of Harris, and Harris also raised his gun to make a defense, but this defense was as soft as tofu in front of Ryister. The gun that had fought with Ryister several times is now unexpectedly a smooth cut appeared. And the knife in Ryister's hand also touched Harris' neck. As long as Ryister's knife was thrown, Harris would have separated his head. At this time, Harris' forehead was already in cold sweat, and the movement of the Adam's apple showed that Harris' heart was also very frightened at this time. Although he was ready for death, when he really faced death at that time, no one can remain calm. Why don't you start? Harris said in a difficult tone. I can't figure out why you chose me this time. I have investigated all your mission records. It is obvious that I do not meet your goals. Or do you simply want to give me a performance? After saying this, Harris and List's expressions were a little subtle. I just want to take a look. What kind of person is Marine who is not afraid of nobles? If this is the case, you can come sneakily. With your strength, compared to mine, being a Marine soldier is like a fake to you. But why do you have to create such a scene of fanfare? Ryister had put away the knife at this time. Oh, maybe I feel desperate for this world, so I want to feel the feeling of death in the hands of the same kind. Hearing Harris say this, Ryister's movements paused. If I guessed correctly, you should be a nobleman? Advertisement? Oh, why do you say that? Harris asked curiously. Because your temperament is different. The temperament of a nobleman can't be concealed, even if you disguise like a civilian again. Really, you are the first person to discover my aristocratic status. But you, a nobleman, feel desperate for this world. It really makes me curious. If Rist guessed correctly, Harris should be a character like Sabo in the original book. Upon hearing this question from Ryister, Harris fell silent. Our country is a hell for ordinary people. No, as long as there are nobles in the world, then for ordinary people, it is a hell. Afterwards, Harris gritted his teeth. When he said these words, the aura of sluggishness on his body exploded again with a terrifying aura. This was a hatred of the nobleman, and he was also unwilling to the nobleman as if he could not support Ado. He once tried to change the nobility of his country, but he failed in the end. How can one person control the minds of a group of people who have been deeply rooted? Join me and be my shadow. At this moment, Ryister said this sentence abruptly. After speaking, Harris was stunned. He didn't expect Ryister to say so. I decided not to kill you. It's a shame to kill you like this. It seems that I am betting right. Harris smiled. Hearing what Harris said, it was Rist who was stunned now. You were really bold enough to use your own life as a bet to approach me. So, what is your decision? Then if I refuse you, will you kill me? Harris asked rhetorically. Will not? Well, I have joined you. I am willing to be your shadow. Advertisement, welcome. From now on, there is no assassin named Harris in this world. When Ryister returned, everyone would feel that Harris had been killed by Ryister. At that time, even if Harris showed his true colors, no one would associate him with Harris. Then what should I be called from now on? Or what is my code name? Your name is Mistgang. After thinking about it, Ryister said this name. Because Harris looks like a character in an anime in Ryister's previous life. Okay, then I'll call Mistgang. Then what do I need to do in the future? Handle things that are inconvenient for me in the future. Okay, I understand. Although Mistgang did not ask in detail, nor did Ryister elaborate, but Mr. Gong already understood what Ryister meant. Then the two exchanged phone worms that contacted each other. After that, Rist returned to Sabody archipelago. But Harris did not return to the New World. He also entered the Sabody archipelago through another method, waiting for Ryister's dispatch at any time, and Riester did not restrict his freedom. He went where he wanted to go. When Ryister appeared in the marine base of Sabody archipelago, the forces that were observing secretly were a bit stunned for an instant, which shows that Harris, the most famous in the killer world, has failed. Sir, are you okay? Bruce came immediately and asked nervously. Don't worry, I'm fine. What about Harris? Died. Although they already knew the result of the battle, it was two different things to hear the answer from Ryister's mouth in person. You deal with the people around you, I'll report to Marshal Sengoku. Understood, sir. There was a fierce look on Bruce's face, and he might not be able to deal with people of Admiral level, but a few ants who were observing secretly could still do it easily. Chapter 84. Unexpected visitor. After returning to the base, Ryister immediately reported the situation to Marshal Sengoku, but there was a big discrepancy with the facts. How about, Ryister, the strength of that Harris? His strength is very strong, indeed, as the Marshal said, he has Admiral-level strength, but that is only his long-range attack ability. If he is close by the enemy, he is only at the Vice Admiral level. Then since you are all right, what about the others? I have been killed by me. I can't let people who are so dangerous and hostile to me live in the world. Sengoku was silent for a moment. He obviously felt that what Ryister said was true, but he didn't know why. There was always a feeling that Ryister was hiding something in his heart. Well, I can rest assured that you are okay. Sabody Archipelago will leave it to you. Marshal, how long can you withstand the pressure? You don't need to worry about this. You only need to take care of your 1-acre 3-point land, but I got some news. Some big pirates in New World seem to be about to move you, so be careful. Don't worry, Marshal, as long as they dare to come, I will let them come back and forth. When saying these words, a trace of murderous intent flashed in Rist's eyes. Then the two hung up the phone. After that, Rist called Zephyr again and said he was safe. After chatting for a few words, they also hung up. Although they missed each other very much, one of them was Sabody Archipelago. The head of the base, one is the chief instructor of the Marine Academy, and the time is very busy. And the underground world also had a shock at this time, and the reason was nothing more than the fact that Harris had died in the hands of Rist. 80% of the people in the underground world know Harris' strength, and no one who understands his strength, he or she will be Harris' opponent, but a person they don't think is an opponent, unexpectedly died. In the hands of a Marine. Because Harris is extremely prestigious in the killer world, some people become killers because of Harris, so some people have already made up their minds to seek revenge on Harris. Among them, the most angry is the killer organization that Harris belongs to. Their organization can only be regarded as a superior force in the underground world. There are few people who can handle it, among them, Harris. It is their signature advertisement, but their sign is dead, which makes them absolutely unbearable. However, there is almost no feeling between killers, even if they belong to the same organization. After all, they are killers. No matter which organization they're in, they can only have a task to support themselves. What is most angry is the fathers of the gold masters behind this killer organization. The sign of an organization is dead, which means that the organization's tasks will be reduced, and their profits will also be reduced. Subsequently, because of this incident, Lister's reward in the underground world directly increased to 2 billion Baileys. It can be said that he was the first person in the underground organization to offer a reward in history. Even the former One Piece King Gold D. Roger does not have such a high reward in the underground world. After all, he has a reward order from Marine. After the kill is finished, just take it to Marine. The difference between Riester and Roger is that he is a Marine, and there is no reward for Riester on the bright side. People who want to kill Riester but don't have strong power can only offer a reward through the underground world. An act. Only 3 days have passed since Lister's peaceful life, and just today, an uninvited guest suddenly came to the marine base of Sabody Archipelago. The weather in Sabody Archipelago today is torrential rain, lightning and thunder. This kind of bad weather is rarely encountered in Sabody Archipelago. At this time, there are almost no people in sight on the street. Bruce, who was helping Lister process the documents, heard Lister's voice directly. Bruce, you go out first, I want to receive a special guest. Bruce was stunned when he heard this voice and then replied. Okay, sir, come to me anytime if you have anything. After Rist felt Bruce's breath go away, he said, come out. At this moment, just after Ryister's voice fell, a breeze suddenly blew in his office. Sure enough, he is the one who can kill Harris. Observation hockey is powerful. A rather calm, serious and charming voice suddenly sounded, and the man who appeared in the office out of thin air was wearing a black robe, and his face was completely covered by the shadow of the black robe. Advertisement, it's really a rare visitor, I didn't expect you to come to me, Dorag. Unexpectedly, you still know who I am. That's right, the person here is the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Monkey D. Dorag. Now Dorag has just created the Revolutionary Army only a few years ago, and his power is not very large. Even if the world government knew about it, it didn't release him, in the eyes. And because it is the son of Marine hero Garp Vice Admiral, Marine is only a symbolic given part of the bounty, which is not very high, and often comes and goes without a trace. Almost no news about him is received from the sea, so Marine gradually forgot about this person. If they know that this organization they are not optimistic about now will become their biggest enemy of the world government in the future, and they will probably regret their death now. Of course I know, I often hear Garp Vice Admiral talking about you, his unsuspecting son. But even if Lister said so, Dorag's face remained unchanged. He didn't think Lister would lie to himself. After all, Lister was Zephyr's disciple, and Garp had a very good relationship with Zephyr. But I'm very curious. The two of us have never seen each other. How did you recognize me? This is a secret. Rist smiled mysteriously. As for why he could know that the person who came was Dorag, it was entirely by guessing. Although everyone's breath is different, there is still a genetic inheritance between bloodlines. Rist felt the breath of Garp Vice Admiral on the visitors, but it was not as violent as Garp. Although it was not gentle, it was always gentler than Garp's breath. But I'm very curious, what's the matter with you when you came to me? You know, you are now a wanted person in the world government. Even if I take you down now, I believe Garp Vice Admiral will not say anything. Are you confident? Of course, I have always been confident in my own strength. I'm here just to ask you a few things. You say? I listen with great respect. Chapter 85 Conversation with Dorag. Is Harris really dead? When asked this sentence, Dorag's tone was very serious. Although List had announced that Harris was dead, no one had seen Harris' body. Of course, but why would you ask such a stupid question? Would you still leave someone alive who wants to kill you? It was me who was abrupt. I thought you were the same kind of people as Harris or even me. I thought you would be merciful to him. It has to be said that Dorag's IQ is also very good enough. He actually figured out his character from what Rist did at Sabody Archipelago, and then had such a bold speculation. The second thing, I hope I can invite you to join our revolutionary army. Oh roar, I didn't expect this to happen, Rist said with a smile, but there was a playful feeling in this smile. Coming to the revolutionary army, I can make you equal to me. I have to say that this condition is really tempting. Although the revolutionary army is indeed not very good now, the scale of the revolutionary army in the future is indeed very large. Although it is not comparable to the world government, it can be compared to any 4 emperors. Thieves. Almost all parts of the world have the shadow of the revolutionary army. The conditions are very attractive, but I am sorry that I refuse to join your revolutionary army. First think Marine is very good now. Hearing Rist's words, Dorag's eyes narrowed, as if thinking about the reasons for Rist's rejection of them. Why? I think you have come into contact with many dark things in your current position, the darkness of the world government, the darkness of the nobility, including the darkness inside Marine. From the simplest surface, corruption has eroded into Marine's bones. If there is no Marshal Sengoku, you might be in this position now. Marine is exactly what you said right now, then why? But if I join the revolutionary army, what should the pirates in the sea do? Can your revolutionary army come forward to wipe out the pirates in a fair manner? Hearing this, Dorag went silent. Advertisement, you keep saying that it's for the people and the people, but now you can't even eliminate the pirates at the most basic level. Although there are already internal problems in Marine, with the intervention of the world government guys, Marine is almost unable to act according to its own ideas, but who said that Marine cannot make reforms? Are you trying to overthrow Marine from within? Dorag said with eyes wide open. I know you have your own ambitions, but I didn't expect your ambitions to be so big. No, this is not my ambition alone. This is Marshal Sengoku, Master Zephyr and even your father's ambitions. Hearing this, Dorag was completely shocked. The people he thought he knew were very familiar, but now they sounded a bit strange from Ryister's mouth. Don't you think they don't know about the corruption inside Marine? Do you think they are foolish to the world government? A Garp Vice Admiral who can call celestial dragons trash, and Marshal Sengoku with Conqueror's Haki, what do you think? They will not absolutely obey the world government. As long as there is a fuse, they are also the ones who can light the fuse. My thinking is too one-sided. Dorag said. When he left Marine, he didn't tell anyone that after he saw the darkness of the world government and the decay of Marine, he felt that Marine was incurable, so he left Marine. If he could get ahead say hello to his father, maybe he doesn't have to live in hiding now. But you didn't do anything wrong. It is very difficult to overthrow the world government's rule over Marine from the inside, so you have to borrow a certain amount of external force, and this external force is your revolutionary army. What should I do? Dorag had obviously come to recruit Ryister at first, but now he has been strayed by Ryister. You only need to continue to develop your revolutionary army in secret. Only when there is a fuse that can cause changes on the sea, can the Marine change, and I hope your revolutionary army can become the fuse of this force. Okay, I get it. Dorag said solemnly. Although I can't join you, but we can cooperate, can we? I think if Garp Vice Admiral knows that he can cooperate with his son, he would be very happy. Forget it, just wait for this matter to be discussed later. Advertisement. When he mentioned Garp Vice Admiral, Dorag's face twitched unconsciously. Obviously, even if it is Dorag, Garp Vice Admiral has caused a deep shadow in his heart. Okay, leave without anything else. You are a bounty person in front of me, and I can't help but want to shoot you. Afterwards, Dorag disappeared directly in front of Ryister. It's really a magical devil fruit ability. Feeling that Dorag had completely disappeared from his observation Haki, Rist murmured. When Dorag's figure appeared again, he had already appeared on a certain ship in a certain port of Sabody Archipelago, and saw that everyone on this ship was wearing a dark green cloak, and the body was firmly covered. Real. What's wrong, Dorag? Did he agree? I saw someone who was tall and had a huge face, and didn't know whether it was a man or a woman, walked up to Dorag and asked him. No, well, but is this also expected? After all, it is rumored that he was being trained by Marine as the next marshal, and our revolutionary army is now like a rat crossing the street. Everyone shouts and rejects us. It is reasonable. Things in. But although he rejected us, he didn't completely reject it. What's the meaning? This sentence confuses Ivankov. What we have to do is to overthrow the world government, and what he wants to do is to make Marine independent from the world government. In a sense, our goals are probably the same. Really? If that's the case, then we are not an enemy. Ivankov breathed a sigh of relief. If Ryister, a man with the strength of Admiral, becomes their opponent, it would be really bad news for the revolutionary army. Because at this time, the revolutionary army had no one with the strength of Admiral except for Dorag. They are now facing the world government, which owns several Admiral forces, and can reduce an Admiral-level opponent. For them, it is good news. Chapter 86 New assignment regarding Dorag's visit to him. Riester did not report to Sengoku. After all, this would inevitably arouse his suspicion. Although Riester knew that Sengoku was supporting him, it is better to do more than to do less. Time flies, and in a blink of an eye, Riester is in Sabody Archipelago, and another year has passed. This year's time can be said to be the most peaceful year in the world since the beginning of the Great Pirate Era. Due to the pirates of the Four Seas and the Grand Line, they couldn't get into New World at all, so they couldn't get enough exercise. Therefore, the pirates of Master Two-Color Hockey rarely appeared. The pirates on the sea were almost wiped out by Marine. New World is also unusually calm. Because there is no new blood to join, many New World pirate groups can only find people to join their pirate groups on New World's home islands. But for the people who can survive in the harsh environment of New World, almost everyone has that kind of not weak fighting power. Even the ordinary pirate group can't get any benefits from them. This has also led to the many pirate groups in New World that are full of hatred for Riester, who is stationed in the Sabody archipelago, but in the hearts of ordinary people, Riester is the most beloved person, perhaps even Marshal Sengoku. They are no better than Riester's status in the minds of ordinary people. Although 99.99% of the people on the sea have never seen Riester, they know that a large part of the reason for being able to live such a stable life in the era of the great pirates is because of Riester. And even the Murlocs have a great affection for Riester. When Riester walks on the streets of Sabody archipelago, all the Murlocs and even mermaids passing by them will greet him nicely. And for those who say hello, Rist will also make a friendly response. They are very grateful to Rist. What they yearn for most in the Fishmen Island is to see the sun on the land and want to see the real sun. But before, even Murlocs walking on land were very dangerous. If you weren't careful of the slave traders and captured them, but now that Ryister is here, they don't need to worry at all. Although the land outside the Sabody archipelago is still full of dangers for them, they are already very content to be able to move on the Sabody archipelago. Even the people living in Sabody archipelago have improved the Murlocs. They all thought that Murlocs were ferocious, grumpy, and ugly creatures, but after more than a year of contact, they found that Murlocs were not only accept that they look different from human beings, everything else is exactly the same as them. This Sabody archipelago is really organized by Riester. In Shaki's ripped-off bar, Shaki looked at the empty bar in front of him and said in a low voice that his bar has not known how long there have been no guests. Yes, there is one less way for me to make money. I can only rely on the dead wages of the coating, and without the pirates, there are even fewer coated boats. Opposite Shaki sat a middle-aged man with eyes, lying on the table, shaking the glass in his hand, staring at the wine in the glass. His tone was a little sad. Advertisement: this person is naturally the deputy captain of One Piece, Confronting Rayleigh. Compared to when Roger died, I wouldn't think that such a person would appear in the ocean. Yes, the appearance of Riester is an accident for both marine and pirates. However, the above-mentioned tolerance for him is estimated to have reached a limit. It will probably not be long before he will be transferred from Sabody archipelago. Even if Sengoku protects him again, it is probably of no use. Just after Shaki finished speaking, the door of the tavern was suddenly opened. Hearing the jingle of the bells hanging at the entrance of the tavern, Shaki's heart was beautiful. I'm finally here as a guest. I want to find all the losses I have lost for so long on this person. This is Shaki's inner thoughts, but when he saw someone coming, the smile on his face gradually stiffened and then slowly disappeared. Why, are you so looking forward to me leaving Sabody archipelago? The visitor said with a smile, yes, this person is Rist. Today is a time of idleness, shopping, and then slowly strolling to this place. What do you mean? You look at the business here, my old lady. I haven't seen a single figure for a long time. Shaki said angrily, if it weren't for Riester, she would definitely be overcrowded here, and he would definitely make a lot of money. If you make the food more delicious and lower the price, it is estimated that you can make a lot of money. Forget it, that would be too tiring. After that, Riester sat directly next to Rayleigh. Long time no see, Rayleigh. Advertisement: this is the second time Riester has come to Sabody archipelago to see Rayleigh, because Rayleigh will take a detour every time he feels his breath. Why do you feel so tired? Is it because you have been overworked recently and want to have a child? Hearing these words from Riester, two Byakugan fell on Riester's body at the same time. Isn't it because of you? Because of me? Don't slander people, I haven't done anything to you. If you didn't take care of Sabody archipelago like this, would I not even have any money with me? In the past, when Rayleigh had no money, he was able to manage Shaki's request. Although it was for bookkeeping, he never gave it, but now even Shaki has no money. Could it be better to govern here, or is mine wrong? Isn't it your fault for the people whose jobs have been smashed by you? Just when Riester wanted to quibble a bit more, a small phone worm on Riester's body suddenly rang. Are there any tasks, Marshal Sengoku? Hearing this name by Rist, both Shaki and Rayleigh were both holding their breath, not even daring to gasp. After all, one is a soldier and the other is a thief, and the soldier is still the supreme commander. Your time at Sabody archipelago is over, and you will be transferred back to naval headquarters awaiting dispatch. Hearing these words, Riester was silent. He knew he would leave, but when this day came, Riester was still very uncomfortable. Yes, Marshal Sengoku. Feel sorry. For a long time, Sengoku only said these two words. Chapter 87. Different from Riester's lowness, Rayleigh immediately snatched the phone worm from Riester's hand after hearing this sentence. Ha ha ha, Sengoku, ha ha ha. I love you so much. Rayleigh laughed and said, what the cautiousness just now can't be seen on his body at all. His heart is very excited now, his body can't help shaking, and the smile on his face can't be restrained at all. Even Shaki was smiling silently beside him, which was arguably the best news he had heard. This voice, this face, you are Confronting Rayleigh. At this time, the phone worm on Sengoku had turned into Rayleigh's face, and even his eyes were turned out. Unlike Rayleigh's flirty and excited tone, Sengoku's tone was quite serious and solemn. Ha ha ha, that's right, it is the old man, Sengoku. The old man discovered for the first time that you are so likable and so smart. Recalling Ryister back to naval headquarters will be the wisest choice in your life. Through the expression of Rayleigh, one can imagine how Rayleigh was held back during the period when Ryister was stationed in Sabody archipelago. Rist, what the hell is going on? Marshal, I said this was a chance encounter, do you believe it? Ryister asked cautiously. What do you think? Sengoku's voice has become more and more gloomy. I think you will believe it. When he said this, even Riester himself felt a little lack of confidence. After you come back, explain it to me in person. After speaking, Sengoku hung up the phone worm directly, and there was no chance for Ryister to argue. When the phone worm hung up, Rayleigh couldn't restrain his laugh completely. He lay on the table, clenched his fists, and hung down on the table, perhaps knowing how excited his heart was. Even Shaki's smoking hand trembled, which was also agitated. You will be liberated in the future. Boy, I really can't bear you. At this moment, Rayleigh suddenly put on a serious expression and said seriously to Riester. Advertisement, you say this, do you believe it yourself? Ha ha ha, have you been discovered? Rayleigh laughed and tears came out. After that, Riester ignored the two men and left here. He was about to leave soon. Sabody archipelago would soon return to its original state. Along the way, he felt some murlocs exuding happy emotions. Riester felt a little pain in his heart, because he knew that after he left Sabody archipelago, these murlocs would start hiding in Tibet again. The sky here is about to change. After Riester left, Shaki let out a puff of smoke, and the happy expression on his face just now disappeared, replaced by a solemn expression. I don't know if this is good or bad. Hearing what Shaki said, Rayleigh was a little silent, because he knew that as long as Rist was still in Sabody archipelago, that would definitely be the best thing for the residents of Sabody archipelago. Who knows, but for people like us, it is too good news. That's right. Hearing these words, Shaki's face reappeared with a smile. Sir, what's the matter? Upon returning to the marine base, Bruce immediately asked Ryister, because the aura exuding from Ryister's body was very terrifying. He was clearly telling others not to provoke himself and keep away from strangers. Tell my brothers, pack things, we are going to leave. Hearing what Ryister said, Bruce was stunned. Sir, where are we going? Are we going to perform a new task? Bruce tried his best to guess in a good direction. Return to naval headquarters and stand by, and let the soldiers tell the fish people on the island to let them return to Mermaid Island. Once we leave, this place will become their hell again. Yes, sir. To be honest, Bruce is also a little bit reluctant to Sabody archipelago. Why did he come to be Marine in the first place? Don't you just hope that you can protect ordinary people and become the patron saint in the mind of the mission? Over the course of more than a year, he did indeed. Under the leadership of Rist, Sabody archipelago and the surrounding islands had no vicious incidents at all, but now they are leaving this place now. It didn't take long for all the forces in Sabody archipelago to get news that Riester was about to leave Sabody archipelago. Suddenly, some people are happy and some are worried. Advertisement: the happy ones are naturally the nobles, those who do illegal transactions and the pirates, and the sorrows are naturally the civilians and the fish people. Some people even came directly to the door of Marine Base, begging List not to leave this place. It can be said that Riester is what people want here, but this is not something he can decide, nor is it something Sengoku can decide. Because Sabody archipelago has no place for slave trade, the venue for celestial dragons has become boring. More than one celestial dragons has put pressure on Sengoku. As for the new commander to take over, Rist doesn't need to think about it. It won't be long before they will be corroded by people or nobles in the underground world, becoming a shelter for them, or even their puppet. Sir, what can I do? Disperse them and tell them to trust Marine. Yes, sir. After speaking, the Marine wanted to go out and pass on Ryister's words. Wait, get rid of the last sentence. Before the Marine walked out the door, Riester changed his mind. He doesn't have the ability to control people's hearts, so he can't promise to these people, can't give them hope. If hope is shattered, then this is too cruel for them. Then, 3 more days passed. During these 3 days, Rist had been strolling around the Sabody archipelago, and some forces that had been suppressed are now beginning to rise. However, as long as he was discovered by Riester, it would be another devastating blow, and he hadn't left yet. So this has also led to the fact that those forces have become honest again. They have endured so many days, it is not bad to endure these few days. In the early morning of the 4th day, Riester led his Marine to the port, waiting for the arrival of the next base commander. Behind Riester, and following a bunch of civilians, they are all very dissatisfied with Riester. She, the one who doesn't want List to leave. Soon, a warship reached the port, and a Marine Rear Admiral led his Marine down. Thanks, List Rear Admiral. Well, Sabody archipelago will leave it to you in the future. Rist's tone was very cold and even bitter. The Marine Rear Admiral on the opposite side suddenly felt a creepy feeling. Relax, List Rear Admiral. Chapter 88, Abandoned by Garp. When Riester left Sabody archipelago, there were almost no murlocs on the island. Basically, they had returned to the Fishmen Island. Those One Pieces had already been watching the sea not far from Sabody archipelago. As long as Riester is gone, they will come to Sabody archipelago non-stop, coat them, and then head to New World. When Ryister returned to naval headquarters, the justice door opened a gap, enough for Ryister's warships to pass. When the warships docked in the harbor, there were already 2 marine lineups to welcome them. They looked at Ryister's gaze. They are full of respect, because he knows that the peace on the sea for more than a year is entirely because of Lister's credit. Welcome Ryister Rear Admiral back to naval headquarters. A colonel in the lead shouted loudly, and the other marine soldiers were repeating this sentence. And Ryister walked out in the midst of this line of welcome. This kid is really popular now. In the marshal's office, Garp and Sengoku stood in front of the window at the same time and said when they saw the scene outside the window. I really don't know what the above is thinking. If Sabody Archipelago has been the master in our marines' hands, then this era of big pirates must be over soon. Who makes the power of Sabody Archipelago complicated? We marine only belongs to the power of the world government. After all, we still have to listen to the nobles. Sengoku said somewhat helplessly that the changes in the sea in the past 2 years are obvious. Although their marine has not been able to control New World, they have managed well in other sea areas except New World. Soon, Lister had already arrived in front of the 2 people. Good job, Lister, you have been working hard for the past 2 years. Sengoku said in a melancholy tone, it's not hard to report to the marshal. But what's the matter between you and Confronting Rayleigh? When he said this, Sengoku's eyes suddenly narrowed, and the sun was shining on his glasses. The reflections on the glasses made Sengoku's face look a little sinister. This is really a chance encounter. Rist scratched his face with his fingers, and he could use his toes to cut out a 3-room hole on the ground awkwardly. Chatting and drinking with the pirate, he was caught by his boss. Do you think I will believe it? Marshal, I promise, I have absolutely nothing to do with that Confronting Rayleigh. Advertisement, it's best to be like this. You have been working hard for more than a year. I will give you a month off first, and wait a month before you come to me to report. Yes, Marshal. Hey, Sengoku, you don't approve the old man who came to ask for leave, so why give this kid a leave? At this time, Garp, who had not spoken next to him, stopped doing it in an instant. He came to ask for leave. Sengoku pushed back and forth, and this kid didn't even mean to ask for leave. Sengoku took the initiative to approve leave. If you can work hard like Lister for a year, I'll give you leave. Also, didn't you, the old man, just finished asking for leave? The last sentence, Sengoku almost shouted in an angry tone. I don't care, the old man is on leave. The old man wants to go back to East Blue to see my good grandson. The old man wants to train my grandson into the world's strongest seaman. Hearing Garp say this, Riester suddenly felt inexplicable in his heart. Unexpectedly, it's already this time, Luffy has already been born. In a flash, he has been in this world for about 10 years. Time flies. No, the old man won't approve, Sengoku roared. The old man cares whether you approve or not. After that, Garp didn't give Sengoku a chance to speak again. He slammed the door and left. It was embarrassing to leave Riester alone. He felt that he shouldn't be in this place. At least the time seems a little wrong now. He felt like a third party. Marshal, if nothing happens, then I'll leave first. Rist didn't want to be hurt by Chiyu, after all, he was innocent. Hearing Sengoku's response, Lister suddenly felt relieved and quickly left Sengoku's office. However, in the next instant, he suddenly stretched out a hand to embrace him, even Lister's observation hockey. There is no reverse. It can also be said that in the naval headquarters, Ryister's vigilance has been lowered. Observation hockey is only enough to be able to walk on his own. Unexpectedly, someone would launch a sneak attack on him in the naval headquarters. Ryister just wanted to resist, but when he sensed the familiar aura of this man, Ryister gave up. Garp Vice Admiral, what are you going to do? Ryister whispered. Yes, the man who kidnapped Ryister was Garp. Advertisement, boy, didn't you just take a 1-month vacation? You happened to accompany me to East Blue to show you my great-grandson. Garp said in Ryister's ear, but why did Ryister think that Garp's tone was a bit ostentatious? Garp Vice Admiral, I just took a month off. I haven't visited Master yet. Next time, I will visit your grandson again when I have a chance. To be honest, Lister still has a hint of curiosity about the protagonist of One Piece World. No, the old man can't get out of this place without you. The old fellow Zephyr can watch it anytime, but the old man's grandson only sees it once. Hearing Garp say this, Lister was speechless for a while, and these two should be replaced. Zephyr's age is getting older, so I watched it once less, but Luffy is only a few years old, so I watched it more often in the future. Then you go and chant by yourself. You think I don't want to? If Sengoku doesn't give the old man a fake, the old man can't get out of this shabby place. Obviously, Garp's grievances against Sengoku have been transferred to naval headquarters. So the old man will leave here directly on your warship later. In order to prevent Rist from leaving halfway, Garp directly used armament hockey to prevent Rist from becoming elemental. No, Garp Vice Admiral, are you so serious? Rist was speechless, his head grew louder for a while. In order to prevent you from playing some tricks, the old man can only do this. If it weren't for the seastone handcuffs on his body, the old man would want to handcuff you directly. Then what you mean, I have to thank you, Rist said in a bad tone. Yes, so use your warship to send the old man home. After finishing speaking, Garp directly clamped Riester, jumped out of the window, and directly used Moonwalk to step on Riester's warship that was just about to be overhauled. But what neither of them knew was that Zephyr knew that Ryister had come back today and had already made a lot of delicacies at home, just waiting for Ryister to come back and share them together. Poor Ryister was kidnapped straight away before he got home. Chapter 89. Coming to East Blue again. Sir, what are you? Lister's adjutant was dealing with the handover of the warship. Seeing Lister coming over, Bruce said in surprise. Don't talk nonsense, hurry up and sail. Garp's voice rang directly in Bruce's ear. But Bruce did not act, but looked at Lister. Although Garp is a marine hero and his official position is higher than him, he is Lister's adjutant. No one can order him except Lister. Rist nodded helplessly, so that Bruce ordered the warship to leave naval headquarters again. However, not all marines on the entire warship are as loyal as Bruce. After all, Garp is a marine hero, almost the idol of all marines. Although this warship is still Riester in name, it is now almost the same as Garp's. When the warship drove out of the naval headquarters, Lister had already resigned, and he believed that Master would understand his difficulties. Zephyr, who hadn't seen Ryister until the night, began to get irritable. When he learned that his disciple had been abducted by Garp, he came to Sengoku angrily. Asked to lead the warship and capture Garp. That's right, Garp didn't get permission to go out privately, and the word apprehension is okay. But Sengoku stopped him. Sengoku hugged Zephyr's waist with both hands and persuaded him, while Zephyr kept dragging Sengoku forward. This scene seemed a bit of life and death. Whole Garp, when this guy comes back, I must make him look good. Zephyr knew that he couldn't leave here, he just wanted to vent it. And now Rist is also lying on the rocking chair with an uncomfortable face. He could lie comfortably on the 2-meter bed in his home, but now, he can only blow the sea breeze and bask in the sun, every now and then. We have to deal with the changing weather, storms, waves and tsunamis, and sea kings. Their warship did not pass through the upside-down mountain, but went straight through the calm belt and came to East Blue. The sea kings of the calm belt are also very large, and the D Garp has no plans to shoot. Among the soldiers on his warship, only Bruce can deal with the huge sea kings. So on several occasions, Rist personally took the plunge. Advertisement Garp is sitting aside, wearing sunglasses, wearing a flowered shirt and short shorts, with Erlang's legs and feet dangling, drinking the fruit leisurely. Whenever he sees this scene, Rist is like cutting his opponent with a knife. If he hadn't been able to beat him, Lister would have done it. He himself had never enjoyed such a good treatment on his own warship. After a few days, the group finally passed through the calm belt and came to East Blue. Lister suddenly felt a different feeling from the Grand Line. The sun is shining, the wind is calm and the waves are calm, the weather changes are traceable, and the sea is very clear. This is the second time Ryister has come to East Blue, but it is completely different from the first time. When Roger was executed last time, the weather almost never got better, and there were not a few strong men who came to East Blue at that time, so the atmosphere in East Blue was very tense. How about it, the old man's hometown is very good. At this moment, Garp walked up directly, patted Rist on the shoulder, and said with a smile. Every time I go back to this place, the old man will feel very comfortable inside. There are not as many bed bugs as Grand Line. But in the next second, the smile on Garp's face instantly froze. The report, sir, a group of pirates was found in front, and he asked for instructions on the next step. Ha 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 ha. Seeing the stiff expression on Garp's face, Rist laughed happily. He rarely saw this old guy slumped, so now he naturally laughed. Damn it, what pirate group is it? Garp said angrily, his face was really crackling. Report to Garp Vice Admiral. There is no record of each other in our marine. I think it should be a new pirate group. HMPH, the guy without the bounty dared to come and hang around in front of me. Bring me the cannonball. Yes, Garp Vice Admiral. Afterwards, Lister's soldiers took out a box of shells from the weapon room and placed them in front of Garp. Report Garp Vice Admiral, it's ready. Advertisement. Good. After speaking, Garp directly picked up a cannonball and weighed it several times with his hands. Fistbone Meteorite. With a swish, the cannonball flew out of Garp's hand, hitting the opponent's ship without error. This was the first time Riester saw Garp actually aim so accurately. You know, when he saw Garp shot at the Grand Line before, it was a miracle that 10 shells could hit one. Humph. Seeing that the pirate group disappeared directly in the fire, Garp snorted coldly. Although they all saw someone jumping off the boat to survive, they didn't care. These newcomer pirates who hadn't been out for a long time would definitely do it in the future. Find a place to get married and have children honestly, and never be a pirate again. After all, this matter should form a deep shadow in their minds. No wonder East Blue is called the weakest sea. It's weird that East Blue can develop with you as a fellow going home from time to time. Ryister silently mourned for the pirates of East Blue in his heart. These pirates probably have not seen the vastness of the world before they will meet the old guy Garp. In East Blue, no one can stop Garp. East Blue doesn't need the development of these pirates. Although East Blue is called the weakest sea, Garp's heart is also very angry, but as long as a place like East Blue can always be safe and peaceful, even if it is called the weakest sea. Now Garp had found a chair and sat on the bow of the ship. The box of shells was right next to him. As long as the pirate group appeared in his sight, they would definitely be greeted by an extremely accurate shell. This also allowed all Marines on the warship to see that Garp was vicious, besides being funny and kind. No pirate in East Blue can successfully escape from Garp's hands. Garp Vice Admiral, it should be coming to your home soon, right? At this point, Garp has gotten up from his chair, standing on the bow, looking into the distance. Well, I will see my lovely little grandson soon. The smile on Garp's face is very kind when thinking of his little grandson, and his aura has changed and his hostility has disappeared. Chapter 90. When the warship arrived, the ordinary people who had surrounded the harbor all showed excitement, because they knew that the man on the warship would definitely be Garp. Apart from Garp, no marine would come. They are such remote places. Although they have seen Garp several times, Garp is the marine hero and the pride of their hometown, so every time Garp comes back, there will be a grand welcome ceremony here. Ha ha ha, see it, the popularity of the old man. Garp looked at the crowd below, showing off to Riester. Huh, believe it or not, if I return to Sabody archipelago, the people there will be more enthusiastic than this. Cut. Garp didn't reply because he knew that Riester was telling the truth. After all, Riester was more prestigious than Sengoku for the people of Sabody archipelago and even the people of the Fishmen Island. The soldiers on the warship disembarked quickly and stood on both sides, separating the people and opening a way. Welcome home, Garp Vice Admiral. Suddenly, such a warm welcome was remembered in the crowd. Yeah, guys, long time no see. Where is that kid Luffy now? Garp also responded loudly, but apparently his grandson is most concerned about him. Garp Vice Admiral, where is Luffy in Makino's tavern? Really, I see, thanks, everyone. After that, Garp walked directly to the tavern. Rist followed him, alive like an adjutant, and those marines returned to the warship. After all, this is the hometown of Garp Vice Admiral, and they too there is no need to worry about anything, and this is Garp's order. He didn't want the people in his village to create a gap with him. Luffy, this kid, went to some tavern when he was only 4 years old. When that happens, he must try the old man's iron fist of love. Afterwards, Garp even breathed into his fist, as if it could use more strength. Luffy has a grandfather like you. It's really unfortunate for the family. Hearing Garp's words, Riester whispered, what did you say? Although Ryister's voice is already very small, Garp can hear any tiny voice clearly in the face of a world's top powerhouse. Advertisement, no, nothing. However, Rist also lost interest in Luffy. After all, he is only a 4-year-old boy now, so he can show any particularity. A long way away, Rist heard the noisy noises coming from the tavern, laughing and making noises, and then there was an immature voice, and this immature voice was particularly prominent in these sounds. Suddenly, Garp's face changed, and he pushed open the door of the tavern. You bastards, don't want to spoil my grandson, Garp roared loudly. Hearing this sound, the tavern fell into silence, and when they saw Garp's angry face, they suddenly laughed again. Ha ha ha, Garp Vice Admiral, long time no see. Most of the people in this tavern are people who have a very good relationship with Garp. Either they are neighbors of Garp, or they have a very good relationship with Luffy, and then they have a good relationship with Garp. Garp Vice Admiral, it's not that we led Luffy, but Luffy followed us. A man said innocently. Crap, if you didn't come to the pub often, could Luffy come with you? Grandfather. At this moment, an excited voice rang, and I saw Luffy standing in front of Garp, his eyes getting bigger and brighter, and his eyes became more and more excited. Grandpa, I miss you. After speaking, Luffy ran in Garp's direction and hung directly on his body. At this time, Luffy hasn't met Shanks yet, and he is still a grandson who makes Grandpa feel distressed. Luffy, Grandpa misses you too. Garp put his face on Luffy's face, rubbing hard. When Riester heard this voice, he trembled. He didn't know why. He felt the special sunshine of Luffy's voice, and it could even change the mood of others, as if anything happened, it couldn't change Luffy's enthusiasm. And in the perception of observation hockey of Riester, Luffy's breath is also particularly warm. Everyone's breath is different, but it is the first time that Riester has encountered such a warm breath. Grandpa, who is the blind man behind you? Advertisement. At this time, Luffy also noticed Riester behind Garp, with a hand clasped to his nose, and asked in a flat and somewhat innocent tone, without knowing how hurtful his words were. And Riester, who was still feeling the warm breath of Luffy exuding, heard this. The warmth just disappeared instantly. Luffy, can't help being so rude. Just when Riester was about to teach this Luffy severely, a gentle voice rang. Hearing this voice, Riester immediately felt a spring breeze. The unhappy just now, because of this sentence, instantly became happy. Mr. Blind, please come with me. After speaking, a small, smooth and delicate hand that seemed to be soft and boneless directly grabbed Riester's hand and guided him to a seat in the tavern step by step. Mr. Blind, what do you need? The gentle voice sounded again, and Rist could not wait to take off the blindfold and witness the true face of the woman in front of him, but he resisted it. If he took off the blindfold and soon proved that he was not blind, if she found out that she was cheating if she did, she would ignore me. He would definitely be angry if someone said that he was blind, but this person is different. Hearing her voice, Rist couldn't get angry at him at all. With this mentality, Rist planned to put the blind man to the end in front of him. Just give me a cup of hot milk, thank you. Okay, just a second. When Riester felt the sound of footsteps drifting away from him, Riester felt a little lost in his heart. But when the familiar sound of footsteps came back, the expression on Riester's face was happy with naked eyes. Hello, your hot milk is a bit hot, please use it slowly, thanks. After speaking, Riester's hand deliberately swept slowly on the table, as if he was really blind, before he found the milk. Garp Vice Admiral, you really are. How can you let a blind person accompany you? Hearing the angry cute voice from the other party, Rist felt like his heart was flying instantly. Garp was stunned by the scene in front of him. Is this the Ryister he knew?